Hey, good morning, everybody. Today's date is January 18th, 2023. This is a regular meeting of the members of the State Liquor Authority being conducted in our New York City office with video conferencing to our Albany and Buffalo offices. Present today are Chairman Vincent Bradley and Commissioner Lily Fan, staff in attendance, Acting Counsel Amarato, Deputy Commissioner of Licensing Donahue, and myself, Secretary Roper. This meeting is also being live streamed on the Authority's YouTube channel. Next regular meeting dates are February 1st, February 15th, and March 8th. While in the meeting rooms, please silence your mobile phones and take any phone calls or conversations outside. No food or drinks inside the rooms. For the New York City office, public restrooms are located on the second floor. Please do not touch the microphone when you approach the podium. Items will be called in the order they are signed in, first in Buffalo, then Albany, and then New York City. When your item is called, please approach the podium and identify yourselves. Representatives should also identify their clients who are present with them. Chairman, do you have any announcements?
I do not.
All right, so first item will be in Buffalo. That's number 136, LAF-A-LOT, Inc.
Awesome. So what am I?
136. Nicole, can you please unmute?
Yeah, sorry.
All right.
Thank you.
Robert Highland, consultant for LAF-A-LOT 1 Incorporated, here with the principals, Kyle and Phil.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Is he aware of the past history of this place?
We have discussed that there is no connection between the previous licensee's operation and what these gentlemen are doing. They have two other licensed establishments, so they're running their own operation.
And what is the, how late's the outdoor going to be open?
Yeah, they want to know the hours.
Yeah, it's open till 10 o'clock during the week, and then Fridays and Saturday evenings, it's open till midnight.
Okay.
I think the last owner had it open till 2 a.m. We just didn't want to keep it open that late.
The outdoors have the same hours?
Yes.
Are there residents around you?
Yes, there are.
All right. Cool.
I'm ready whenever you are.
Why do I have a note that says that they didn't notify the municipality? Did I make that up?
We re-notified the municipality.
You did?
We did. This process started about a year ago, and when I was brought into it, we re-notified.
Okay, sounds good. Is it okay if I do midnight across the board?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to
Wait,
vote.
what, I'm sorry. What hours did you want inside? You said outside is going to
want
close
10.
at 10 or 12. At 12, you're going to close the
Same
restaurant at
inside.
12 as well? Same inside?
Yes.
Okay.
Same hours
All right,
inside and
I'm going to vote to approve. I'm going to do midnight across the board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to vote to approve under the same condition.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Next is 94, Badass Burgers and Beers, Inc.
The DBA is pouring joy.
Yes, good morning. I'm Tricia Cifuentes Inglesi. I'm the representative of DBA Core and Joy. This is Joseph Joy. He is the principal on the application. It's my understanding we're here because prior to my client's establishment opening, this city had a concern that if it remained open past 11 p.m., it would create a noise issue for the nearby residents. It has officially been open since May of 2022. Except for a single noise complaint in the early summer, which my client immediately addressed by lowering music, closing the windows and the doors after 11 p.m. and not using the outdoor front sidewalk patio past 11 p.m. There have been no other issues. He has gone to the neighboring residents and the neighboring businesses to see if there are any concerns that they have. They have none. So far that we have heard about. And we also, in order to disperse, to keep the city's concern about any congregation who are leaving, we have actually hired, my client is hiring a security company to help to disperse those customers, make sure that they're not congregating outside of the establishment so as to create a noise issue for the neighbors, which we will add to the license application. When we originally applied, didn't realize it might be needed, and now realizing that it could be useful, he's going to do that as well.
Where's
My client would also like, go ahead.
Where's the outdoor patio? Where do you put that, on the side of the building?
It's just the front. There's just a couple tables outside the front. Park Avenue is businesses and residential, so right on that sidewalk. There's just a little bit of space for a couple of tables and chairs on either side of the door. So it's a very small
And where,
area.
I mean, this looks like a small place. Where are you putting a band? I got a photo here. You said you asked for live music.
We did ask
You don't
for
want-
live music, so that, go ahead.
You go ahead.
So he did ask for the possibility of live music or a DJ or karaoke for events in the future, potentially. It wouldn't be a large event. It's a very small establishment, but it would be in the future that would happen.
But where would
If
it
at all.
happen?
Not on a regular basis. Go ahead.
It would happen
inside the
inside?
establishment. Correct.
And your establishment goes back to this where the house becomes 2 floors, and that's the end of it, right?
It goes all the way back past the.
But you
two
don't
floors.
But you don't have the 2nd floor.
That's
Why is there
tenant
delay?
from the landlord.
It's residence upstairs.
Okay.
So the whole full floor is your bar, and
Correct.
there are people that live upstairs. Is it one apartment?
One tenant, yes.
One tenant?
And then 10 on the other side.
Yeah, I know. Well, no.
Are there apartments on both sides of your building?
Yes.
So that the other brick building is apartments as well. The one to the, as I'm looking at your building to the left.
Yep. That is correct.
And my client's not concerned about having live music. That was kind of something that, hey, it would be great to allow it if that's a concern for you guys. That's not something that he's concerned about. His concern is being able to stay open past 11 p.m.
I'm concerned about that driveway right next to you. Have you ever used that outdoor space on the left side of your building?
That's not my property. My driveway, I don't utilize other than for parking.
So in the back of the establishment, there are a couple of parking spaces and the trash bins. And so that's what would be accessed in the back of the establishment. It's not outdoor seating. It's
Okay.
not for outdoor congregation. It is strictly the trash
Okay,
bins
so-
and a couple of parking spaces.
Okay, so what I'm looking at is a driveway, and you can't use that.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Very narrow as well. How many tables do you actually have outside? I mean, this is very, very small space.
Two tables, 6 chairs. It's very small. It's just to give some of the customers an
like sort of
opportunity to
one,
enjoy the.
right. And it's just one on each side of the stairs.
Correct.
Yeah, it was originally contemplated to be 2 on either side, but it wasn't large enough for that.
What do you think, Midnight?
Whatever you want to do, yeah.
All right,
If we could just
I
say
trust
one
that-
more thing about,
yeah, go ahead.
if we could say one more thing about the hours of operation. When my client initially applied for the license, he had not intended to need late night hours. But as he saw in the business, people were not coming in until much later. So a majority of his business happens between, what are the hours?
11 and 2 a.m. is when I do all my business. To be honest, if I were
Well, how are you
limited
doing your
to-
business? Is that what you're doing now?
Yeah,
Correct.
it's been open for roughly 8 months. And the clientele just starts coming in later.
And you're
Yeah, but
Try
see,
to
the
do
people
happy
next,
hours.
the people next door to you, where there's 10 apartments literally within 30 feet, while you do your business
Yes.
at that time, they do their sleeping.
Yes, correct. I've done my due diligence to go and speak with those neighbors. They've written me beautiful letters stating that I'm not a nuisance, that they don't hear anything coming from my building, and they truly enjoy my establishment and what I've brought to the community in Rochester on Park Avenue.
My client does lower the music as it gets later, and he keeps all the windows and doors closed as it gets later and does not use that outdoor patio at the later hours. He has also offered to add some sort of a sound barriers if it became a problem. But again, he's been talking to the neighbors, he's been talking to the neighborhood association, and there haven't been any concerns in this, last number of months that he's been operating. And
Then why is the city telling us not to leave you open past 11? I mean, we don't
So
hear from the city. What, can I finish? We don't hear from the city of
I
Rochester about, why is there a delay?
It's a
Internet,
problem with the bandwidth or something.
connectivity.
We don't hear from the city of Rochester about anything. And they literally have sent a letter asking us not to let you be open past 11. Having nothing to do with you, but it's clear to me that they think this location is a problem.
So I will say that the letter that they wrote was prior to my client opening, and there wasn't previously a licensed establishment there, so we don't know why they could have had concerns other than there are other neighbors behind that building that have outdoor parties, but those are residential parties. Those could end up causing a problem there, but other than that, we don't know of a reason. There wasn't a licensed establishment there, so we don't know why. We've tried to talk to them about it. They just say that it was a recommendation, and they're not willing to, revoke the recommendation. But aside from that, they really won't tell us anything as to why. All I know is my client's establishment has not been a problem in these past 8 months that he's been operating.
What was
The
operating
previous
there before?
establishment,
What was there before?
it was called the Classy Cookie, and it was a cafe delicatessen. And they closed at 5 or 6 o'clock, I believe. She was in business for 37 years. The neighborhood loved her, the community loved her. I still have patrons that come in asking where she went, if she's still in business. So I don't know why they deem that location an issue. There's never really been an issue there. I don't know how it would be an issue when she did breakfast to, dinner.
And I can understand the concern of an issue with a bar so close to residences, but at the same time, this establishment has proven in these last 8 months that it hasn't been a problem. And my client's been so open with communicating with the neighbors and the businesses to make sure that if they have any issues, that he's willing to address those issues.
You said he's been lowering the music. What music is he lowering?
Recorded music?
They said they got one noise.
Okay, you didn't ask for recorded
Beyond
music.
that, nothing on us.
You asked for live music and DJ and karaoke.
No, it's Spotify and Pandora.
Okay, but you,
Oh, I-
just so you know, you didn't ask for that in the application.
I'm
All right,
pulling up
Donald,
the
I think we're ready.
application. If it wasn't, it was an oversight.
All right, well, the members are ready to vote. Commissioner Fan?
It's like whatever I do, it's wrong here. Look, I'm gonna try to meet in the middle. I'm gonna try to do 12:30. If you do another year of clean record, we can go to 2 a.m. How's that? I'm
We
trying
appreciate
because I
that.
have a letter saying 11 o'clock and
What-
I
what do
try
we-
not to go
What are we
against.
doing for music?
No live music,
I
no
have,
DJ.
I have my recorded music
Can you-
here on my application.
Yeah, she can have recording
Sorry, there's a
music.
delay.
I'm gonna vote for the same
The
conditions.
recorded background music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
All right, so you've been
And then another
approved
year
for
of clean
12?
record, you potentially willing to
Yes.
extend?
Yes, absolutely. If you're doing well in 6 months, start filing and then we'll give you 2 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Clear video.
So it's,
Hmm?
this is clear on YouTube.
and try to reconnect again?
It's up to you. Do you guys want to?
No, because we're gonna be, after Albany, we're done, right? We don't need it anymore.
But there are all these people that are.
Next is 112 Axes and L's LLC. Looks like it's getting worse.
Good morning, members of,
Oh,
Yeah.
good
yeah, I
morning.
think it's
Sorry, we're gonna have to. I don't know. I guess
disconnect.
disconnect and come back on. 'Cause we can't understand Buffalo. It's breaking up too badly. So we're gonna go on a brief recess. Figure out the best way to do this without.
No, you imposed the requirement.
Yes.
So it's yes.
So it's not. I thought that's in cover.
All right, so we're back. Let's try this again. So that's 112 Axes and L's LLC.
Good morning again. Adam Connors appearing on behalf of the licensee. With me is Mr. Bo Warren, the principal, as well as Justin Giuliano, consultant on the license application. And this is an application to modify the current operation.
Did he get arrested recently?
4 months ago, yes. Yep, charges were
For
dropped.
what?
I'm sorry?
What was the arrest for?
Obstruction of justice. Yep.
So what were the
So I've been
facts?
back and
What'd you-
forth
what-
with somebody in your office.
I can't hear. I mean, it's tough to go back and forth like this. What were the facts of the case?
There was police tape outside the business for a crime scene about 2 blocks away, and I removed that tape. Officer did not like that at all and slapped me with a ticket.
Was it a murder case or a shooting or what?
There was a shooting about 2 blocks away from the current location of the business.
And he told you not to go there and you took the tape down and went anyway.
Exactly, yeah.
And now you want us to give you more benefits.
And as the board is aware, he is looking for a reduction in the requirement for the outside security staffing on, I believe it's just Friday and Saturday nights, where there's, based on the prior licensee, which has now been gone, we believe, about 6 years. The property was vacant for about 2 years. Now Mr. Warren has operated there for 4. This is a axe throwing club, maybe more akin to like a bowling alley situation where people reserve times. They come in. What he's experienced in the 4 years that he's operated is that people come in during the reserve times. They play. It's never open past 11 o'clock. I believe Friday and Saturday nights open to 11, closes at 6 on Sundays. And that people just tend to come in, do the reserve time. They do not linger, they leave. And there has been no police calls at this location during his entire operation.
And why were you summarily suspended in 21?
For operating while the pandemic was going on.
How much did the security guards cost you?
About $30 per person for this, so 30 times 4, so do the math, that's $120 a night on Friday and Saturday. They're only there for 2 hours, from 9 to about 11 when we shut down.
All right. You're otherwise.
Wait. They're there from 9 till 11?
They're supposed to be there after 9 p.m. 9 o'clock is our
they're supposed
last
to be
lane.
there. They're supposed to be there from 5 p.m.
It states on the liquor license after 9 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays.
In our records, it says 5 to 12.
Okay.
I can double check.
But I'm gonna say yes to this, but just don't get into trouble, because then you're gonna lose the business, you know, like, and that's not helpful to you, so.
By the way, it was a murder.
Thank
scene.
you.
Chairman Bradley?
Yeah, I'll vote to approve as well. And just for future
Thank you.
reference, you realize the police can walk into your establishment at any point.
Absolutely.
So if they're asking for your cooperation, probably in the future, particularly when there's a murder outside your business, you probably should give it to them.
Absolutely.
All right, you've been approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is 135 7th Street LLC. Introduce yourselves for the record.
Good morning, Attorney Chanel McCarthy on behalf of the applicant. And to my left is Sam Marabella, who is a principal of the applicant entity.
Sorry, where's the other owner?
He is not present today.
And
He's
this
actually
client is,
at the business, which is 2 doors down from the Zone 3 office. But he's handling some of the day-to-day operations, the finances and whatnot.
oh, okay. Well, you're right under our watch, so I don't have a problem with this. And your issues were cured with the city, right?
Absolutely. There was actually no issue with the city. The ALJ thought that because the city had remained silent on the 500-foot notice, that in and of itself didn't mean that they were in agreement. We have since submitted a letter of no objection from the Common Council president, and also he is our council member for the Ellicott District, and that would be Councilman Darius Pridgen. In addition, we have also submitted copies of all of the licenses issued by the municipality.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna vote to approve 2 a.m. Tuesday to Thursday, 3 a.m. Friday, Saturday. If you have no issues, you can come back for 4 a.m. in 1 year. Recorded live music, DJ, jukebox, karaoke, all okay. Private events and no third-party promoters.
That's correct.
Thank
And
you.
I just want to be, oh, my apologies. I just want to be sure that in the list there that you mentioned live music, we do have a piano player that comes on like during happy hour.
Yeah, that's fine.
Chairman,
Yes.
you
Okay,
voted
great.
to approve?
Yeah, I vote to approve under the same conditions.
Wonderful. And I have one more thing I'd just like to bring to the board's attention. We do plan to submit a method of operation change to include Sunday and Monday hours. Does the board have an opinion on that, or would they like to wait until the method of operation change is submitted to you?
You don't need to do
You
that.
don't need to do that.
We'll just do it
Okay,
now.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to be sure. No, I just
Yeah,
wanted
no,
to be
so
sure
it's-
because you just said the Tuesday through Saturday, and I didn't want you to think
No,
that
because
we
that was
were.
just in the app. I was just reading what's in your
Absolutely.
application, but yeah, I'm gonna do
Perfect.
Sunday to Thursday, 2 a.m., Friday, Saturday, 3 a.m.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yep, thanks for coming in. Good luck.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Yep. Nicole, I have nothing else in Buffalo, is that correct?
That's correct. There's nothing else.
All right, thank you. You can go ahead and sign off.
All right. Thank you.
It's like our interpreter is present. Here already.
I'm just
If you
standing
don't
by.
mind, I would like to. No, it's okay. I believe the applicant is here anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and call one in New York City so we can get the interpreter.
Sure.
So that's 149 Gang Fei Wang, DBA Avenue I Liquor.
Okay.
And we do have an interpreter
149.
who'll be able to speak. So, Mr. Both of you need it?
Anyhow,
Anyhow,
係我啱做咩學啲點樣抗議佢亂下，我啱做咩抗議？That's fine.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, and if you guys can introduce yourselves.
你好，跟
we
你
kind
兩
of
字啊。張飛永，
Gang Fei Wang. Okay.
And who's with you?
嗱你先邊做嘢時對？ My family.
and is that
嗱呢個
謝謝
梗係要啦，
謝
多謝是對。
你是誰？
我公公啊，會是師母。
Come on.
My wife.
Ah,
No, no.
Daughter-in-law.
Simona, my daughter-in-law. Sorry.
Seriously?
couldn't hear him. I think it's very, he's not speaking up. Why do you want a liquor store?
那我是當住雙個開朗主嚟啊。
用錢那都百貴冇夠晒啊，頭先那都百貴啊。
Sorry, I couldn't hear him. Can I just ask for a repetition?
Yes, please.
You
have to speak into the mic.
你都對你開麥克風講話啊。
You can't touch it.
我只講佢招嚟嘅錢都停啲嘅，你諗我那都百會來冇夠晒，係多嚟下嘅。
Because I only make a little bit more than $100 a day, and I want to make more money. Therefore, I want a liquor store.
Okay. He's only spending $800 of his own money. So who's giving him the $50,000 loan?
那我想問啊，預支啊，那拜包會錢，那過5萬塊錢是點樣做佢女的啊？
我是親嚟嘅。
My family.
Who's going to be running the store?
那是兩個運營狀態啊。
我娘我都要，我佢ông大我都要做咩做仲啊
Me and my kids.
How many kids do you have?
你有幾個兩個啊？
นั่นเยอะพอหน้าคนหนึ่ง
Two, a boy and a girl.
Where are they?
依幾兩個兩個在嗰邊呢？
ที่รู้นิ้วอยู่
Both are in New York.
Did they loan you the money?
依有冇做你這啊？幾兩個？
冇我唯一的好做了
Who's Wan Gui Zhao? Who's the person? Who's the person who gave him the money? Who's the person who lives in Massachusetts who gave him the money?
幹嘛呢？後面做你這你就是點啊？做你這你會幹嘛呢？後面做你這你是點啊？
我哋我先冇啊，我先冇啊，一啲
It's whom? What did he say?
我哋
Sorry, I'm asking for it.
我哋
My brother.
你就講我哋
His brother. Brother. Your brother? Can you ask him again who the person is, the person who made the loan? Because the person is born in 1982.
因為這人呢是女，家是白白。
我先冇英文啲，我先冇英文啲。
No, it's my daughter-in-law's brother, younger brother. my daughter-in-law's younger brother.
Oh, it's your,
Right.
so why aren't you on the license?
我
那
个被人生
我
意做，
现在女
我个更惊。啊，唔，我讲我个被人生意做，讲我做个人我话冇爱嘛，你现在做伊啲就讲伊佢啲安排，留低嘢我佢都要佢出
daughter-in-law
门。
is saying that she is not gonna be in the store. She has her own business and children's to take care of, so she will not be in the store.
So who's gonna be in the store?
She was referring to him. He will be.
Right, you're not gonna be in the store, but your husband's gonna be in the store?
Yes.
So why is he not here?
周末嘛，那你
我都
周末呢？
冇伊跟我同路，我都冇跟我同路那见你啊，所以讲伊那在你啲做下啲嘢，我那嘢打完打见你啊，过了我少咗咩都要啊，所以讲佢哋睇埋你哋，我眼呢我都要做。
That's the reason why, because me and my husband both are gonna be there occasionally from time to time on a rotation, and my father-in-law is gonna be there all the time. That's why he should be on the liquor license.
All right. I didn't get numbers for 2 of the 4 closest stores. One of the stores is showing some growth. I'm gonna find public convenience advantage and vote yes.
Did, do any of the other family members own liquor stores?
那你坐那个毛病呢？有做酒杯的呀？
哦，一啦，亲戚朋友，但是伊又冇夫妻人，伊家你这是讲呀，讲呀就多啲嚟拄好，伊要讲轉會我頭攏做法，最後伊一幫嘛，一啦朋友我仲都嚟。
We do have other families that has liquor license, but they're from like Jersey or Long Island or different places, not in Brooklyn.
How close family? Brother, sister, mother, father?
那这个也是小龙王的亲戚，是讲直系亲属中啊，哥哥弟弟啊，中啊，嗰啲讲是北基远方亲戚中啊。
豬扒地，豬扒地，
豬扒地。like uncles. Like uncles.
豬扒地都講。
All right, I'll vote to approve as well. Against my better.
Or
All right, so
Uh,
all right, interpreter, let them know that they've been approved. Their application. Yep, let them know that their application has been approved and that they'll get an email and a letter.
Thank you very much. 那你九月過了哈，你話 SPA 收到哈，你九月已經過了。
謝謝 ，Thank you。
哎，謝謝。
Thank you.
謝謝。
再見。
Thank you. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, interpreter. Yep, you can go ahead and sign off. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. So now we're going to go to Albany. That item is 141, SHREE, AYUSHI, Inc.
Hello, my name is Bill Frisk. I'm the representative for SHREE, AYUSHI, Inc.
Hi, my name is Meghaban Patel. I'm the wife of the owner.
Mr. Patel is in India and is not able to come today.
Who's the applicant?
The husband. Why is he in India?
So we had some family problems came out, so he needs to go over there. It was an emergency for her right now.
When did he go?
In January 7th.
And when's he coming back?
He's coming on January 27th.
You want to kick this over?
Is there any opposition there?
That entire room.
Yes.
No, we're gonna deal with them. All right, let them go first. You folks can sit down.
Good morning. Michael Gary on behalf of Newton Wine and Spirits. With me is my son, Michael Jr., and Dave and Jeff Cross. They are the principals of the store. Thank you for hearing us this morning.
Your son is the principal of the store?
I'm sorry?
Sorry, I just want to clarify.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Your son, you're representing your son, and he's the owner of the store.
Correct.
Yes, along
Right?
with Jeff Cross. Yes, correct.
Okay. I just want to clarify.
Okay, no problem. This is not the first time that we've had additional applications in Latham. In the last 10 years or so, the board has denied 2 other applications that have come in on the basis that the hamlet of Latham is well served by its existing clientele. We've seen, and our research shows that there's only been a 0.79% increase in population in the hamlet of Latham. And all of the existing stores were in place at the time that the board denied the 2 prior applications. One was at the Fresh Market Plaza, the other one was on the Cohoes Road. The reports show that the stores are all, their sale reports are consistent with what we're seeing across the state as numbers are dropping with the pandemic easing. The applicant owns apparently 7 or 8 existing convenience stores and gas station locations in the Albany area. And at the time he came in front of the Zoning Board of Appeals in the town of Colony, I was the Zoning Board Counsel. He told me at that time that he owns liquor stores in New Jersey, and he also has additional gas station and convenience store applications in New Jersey. He's reflecting in his application $125,000 investment. He's showing $123,000 for fit up of the space and $2,000 for miscellaneous. He's showing nothing for populating or initial inventory at the store. The other issue is, of course, they're showing in his application that he will only be working 2 hours a day midweek in the store doing paperwork and scheduling. That doesn't require him to be in the store. This is not the physical presence of the owner-operator that the single package store rule envisions. We would ask the board to deny this application.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yes. This is Harry Avakian from Uptown Wine and Spirits in Ward of Leet. I didn't get to send you guys my numbers.
What's your
This
name
is Uptown
of
Wine
your
and-
store? Okay.
Uptown Wine and Spirits in Ward of Leet. I didn't get to send you my numbers for what we did for sales, but from 2020 to 2022, we're down over $225,000. So to lose more business while you open up other liquor stores in our area, as you did with Starbuck Island, which I'm totally fine with, but it's not going to be favorable to all our smaller stores. It's going to take away the traffic pattern to all of our smaller stores. That's not going to be cost effective for anybody. I really do think it's not a good idea to do it. As the owner, I've been there since day one, 9 years. $150,000 is not going to stock the store. That's almost 2,000 square foot, especially with the price of everything that's going up in value. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Hey, good morning. My name is Bomik Patel. I represent Huzik Street Wine and Liquor. As the last 2 parties have mentioned, the dropping in the sales after the COVID pandemic is easing it is not helping the business that long. With that, another license being approved in this area will drop the value of their licenses along with mine as well when we just recently took over the license. And I'm simply here just to support them, and I totally agree with them because it will not help the area as we are supporting local wineries and local breweries to carry their products and support everything else they have to offer. Thank you.
What store are you?
Huzik Street Wine Cellar.
Are you in Waterville or over in Troy?
In Troy. which is only 7 to 10 minutes drive.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen him before for sure.
Next.
I want to come back one more time from Uptown Wine and Spirits. From my location, 4-mile radius as the crow flies, there are 8 liquor stores in that route. I think one more is kind of oversaturating that population. Thank you.
And that is everyone.
Who's next?
That's everyone,
everyone?
Chairman. Yes.
All right, the applicant can come up then.
Good morning. Where the store is proposed is on Troy Schenectady Road, which is Route 2. And from the city of Waterville to the circle, Latham Circle, which is close to Route 87, there are no liquor stores. Where the proposed site is, there's development that just got completed about 1/10 of a mile west of the proposed site with 120 houses. And behind the proposed site on going down Spalding Road, there is another development that just completed about 5 years ago. One of the opponents had said that he owns the liquor store in New Jersey. That's not correct. He worked at a liquor store in New Jersey before he moved to New York State.
He's had some issues with sales to minor.
Yes, there's been some issues. There's kind of a rash around the beginning of 2002. One store.
Now you're missing one. I got 5.
Well, 5 in total. 4 of them were around.
He had 4 underage sales in 2021, not 2002.
Okay, I misspoke. Two Valatia store that had 2 violations. They went through the liquor store's training, but unfortunately they didn't improve. They were still not IDing people, so they were let go. The other 2 stores, the same with those employees, they were also let go. So fortunately, it's been a year. There hasn't been any more violations, and hopefully it stays that way.
We tried hard to educate our employees and everyone regarding these all, and we are working on hard. We are checking even by ourselves on that. So the last whole year was good. We've been doing good from that.
Yeah, but it concerns me that he's only going to be in this store 2 hours a day, and he seems to have a weakness to sell to teenagers.
Well, it's the employees. He has a handful of stores.
I get it's the employees, but he doesn't plan on supervising anybody here. He's not going to be here.
Well, most of the stores has a partner, and so they're operating. Out of the 5, 3 of them have a partner that are operating.
You're missing my point. On the application, he said he's going to spend 2 hours a day in this store. The store is probably going to be open 12 hours a day.
Right. Yeah. So this liquor shop is running by my brother, so he will be all the time there. So that's our plan to run the show because my brother will be there, so we will not concerned about these things. He will be taken care of this all. So we had our family.
Then why isn't the brother applying? Then why is your brother not applying? Why is your husband applying?
It's just he is the he wants to be the partner in that. So he will be the working partner, and we will be the whole partner for the.
Mr. Uday Patel has the funding. He does have a lot of businesses, so he's referring to his brother-in-law.
Yeah, his brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law to help with the establishment.
And he's applying for 2 more stores, 2 more grocery stores, right?
One's a convenience store, a gas station. The other one's the bar. They both have, he has
A
partners
bar?
for both. A bar, Casey's, a bar,
Oh, it's a restaurant level.
restaurant bar.
We already.
All right, I'm ready.
It looks like he's the only one on the license.
No, he's,
No? He has
yeah,
partners?
he's got a partner on a
Correct. He's
couple
gonna,
of.
All right.
Are the members ready to vote?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the numbers, as everybody else said. I think Albany County is saturated. I'm not gonna find public convenience and advantage. The numbers really don't justify another store. They're really all decreasing pretty significantly, so I'm gonna vote to deny.
Chairman Bradley.
I'm going to vote to deny too. The population is stagnant based on what was presented to us. We just opened a store in 2021 that's 2.4 miles away. We have 6 stores within 2.4 miles of this location. And as I mentioned, I have questions regarding his ability to supervise all these licenses, given that he's had 5 underage sales in his businesses since 2018, and he had 4 during the year 2021. And he only plans on spending 2 hours a day at this location. So I'm going to vote to deny.
All right, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we do have one more in Albany. That's 140 South Cairo Liquor Store, Inc.
Hello, my name's Sagar Prani. I'm representing South Cairo Liquor Store, and I'm applying for a warehouse application or permit.
I'm okay with it. I'll vote to approve.
I vote to approve as well.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much for your time.
You've been approved.
Take care. Yep.
All right, Paul, I have nothing else. Is that right?
That's correct, sir.
All right, you can sign off.
All right, just give me 2 minutes.
The interpreter? Okay. All right, we're going to take a brief recess. We'll be back shortly.
Why,
All right, we're back on the record after a brief recess. I'm gonna pull up a few that we have our Spanish interpreter here. First is 133 Happy Village Wines and Liquors Corp.
What number is it? 133?
Are you actually representing the applicant? Because we have two letters from two different attorneys saying they represent the applicant.
Yeah, we both work together. Mr. Molina and this is Ben Sharav, here with Mr. Molina, representing the applicant Maria de Guerra, Happy Village Wine and Liquor.
Do we have any opposition here for this? We did get two protests. Go ahead.
If the interpreter could also introduce himself.
Hi, my name is Marcos Morales. I'll be the Spanish interpreter.
Okay.
And this is the applicant, Ms. Guerra. We believe that that this store will serve the needs of the community. This is going to be an open store, not bulletproof. It's on the eastern edge of Jamaica Avenue. There are stores to the west, but nothing really to the east. And there's a lot of development going on in the east now. Some hotel open there. There's also, it's by Belmont Park. There's going to be a new arena for the New York Islanders are going to be not far away. So we think that it's going to be a good store for the community. She has never operated a liquor store before, but she does own a deli grocery, and it has been licensed and has never had any problems with the state liquor authority.
Does anybody in her family own a liquor store?
And nobody in her family owns a liquor store.
She's going to manage it?
Yes, she's gonna manage the store. She has someone else managing the deli grocery.
How far do you live from this location?
¿Qué tal lejos vive de mi casa?
Porque yo vivo en
897. ¿Cuál era el?
No, I'm just asking how close does she live? How close?
In the Bronx.
How close? Like how long drive?
Como manejando o cómo llega aquí, como cuántos minutos llega. Like 30 minutes or so.
Okay, and is this business close to her grocery store?
Y este negocio queda cerca de su tienda.
No queda tan cerca, pero me voy a mudar.
It's not that close, but I'm gonna move over there.
Oh, you're gonna move closer to this store?
Cerca de la tienda. Yeah.
I'm gonna vote to approve. I'm gonna find public convenience advantage. 2 of the 4 stores I have no numbers for. 1 source showing growth.
Thank you, Chairman Bradley.
I'm going to vote to approve as well. 3 of the 4 closest stores are bulletproof. This store is going to be open, which certainly goes to the public convenience and advantage in by itself. We also did not receive numbers from 2 of the 4 closest stores, particularly the closest store, which is the not bulletproof store. And as a result, I'm going to assume that those numbers are increasing and find public convenience and advantage.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And sir, we're going to need you for a couple more. Thank you. No, we just need the interpreter. Huh? Yeah.
No, he wants you to interpret for somebody. You
Yeah.
can do that? Yeah. Just wait. Okay.
Are you with them or are you?
No, he's with the agency. Or with our people.
I just thought that she should leave with them because she got a liquor store.
Next is 155 L2Con Inc.
What?
155 L2Con Inc. I don't know if the person. I think here she comes. If you can like introduce her, have her introduce herself.
Name is Evelyn Herades. Would you like her to ask?
She's got, this is for a disorderly premise charge, and the charge is related to the music that's playing in the restaurant.
Oh,
She's not allowed to have music.
Eso se trata de tocar la música en el restaurante, que no está supuesto tocar la música en el restaurante.
Sí, pero en el restaurante nosotros ponemos música de fondo solamente, muy bajita.
Yes, but in the restaurant we only play music very lightly in the background. We don't put it too loud.
The problem is when they applied for the license, they said they weren't going to have any music.
El problema es que cuando usted aplicó para la licencia dijeron que no iba a tener ningún tipo de música.
Ok, sí, y eso yo tengo ya 11 años de tener ningún problema.
I've had 11 years with this license and I've never had any problem with it.
Well, she has one now.
Bueno, usted tiene una ahora.
Sí, y nunca más voy a volver a poner música.
All right, well, I'll never play the music again.
All right.
I mean, she can apply
Bueno, usted puede solicitar.
to have music. That's all she needs to do.
Lo único que tiene que hacer es solicitar para tener la música.
Lo voy a hacer. Sí.
Yes, I'm going to do that.
Okay, and now she offered a $1,500 fine. I'm going to accept it.
Usted ofreció una multa de $1,500. Lo voy a aceptar.
Sí, está bien.
Commissioner Fan accepted also. Yep. Okay. It's been accepted. You'll get a letter in
Fue
the mail.
aceptado. Usted va a recibir una carta.
Ok,
All right.
está bien. Sí.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Okay, thank you.
We have one more. Next is 146 Ceylon Deli Corp. Jonathan. Ceylon Deli Corp. There she is.
¿Cómo se llama?
Eunice Garcia.
All right, this is Eunice Garcia. This is Eunice Garcia. Entonces, ¿por qué está aquí?
Porque me mandan por una conferencia para la licencia de la cerveza que me la mandaron temporal.
So ask him how, it's a she, right?
She, yes.
Do we have, isn't the applicant a he? Ask her how much she paid for the business.
¿Cuánto pagó usted para el negocio?
5,000 y pico.
$5,000 or so?
Because she filed something that said she paid 30,000.
Porque usted mandó algo que dice que pagó 30,000. $15,000.
Now it's 15,000?
Ahora es 15,000.
Are you here 20?
5,000.
Oh, 5,000.
So why did her application indicate she paid 30?
No sé por qué su aplicación indicó que pagó 30,000.
No, 2,000 para la corporación.
2,000 for the
3,000 y pico para la licencia.
2,000 for the corporation and 3,000 for the license.
But it was an existing business. Did she pay somebody else for the business?
Pero fue un negocio existente. ¿Usted le pagó a otra persona para el negocio?
No, yo la renté. Me estaba rentando, hablé con el landlord y la renté.
No, I rented it. I spoke with the landlord and I rented it.
Then why did the application say that you spent 30,000? And then the minute we asked you for a contract of sale, you pulled it and said that you didn't spend 30,000, you spent 5,000.
Entonces, ¿por qué la aplicación dice que usted pagó 30,000? Y cuando le preguntaron para una prueba del el contrato del eventamiento, te lo rechazó, o sea, no se lo dio.
No.
Says no.
That never got filed.
Eso nunca se hizo.
No.
No.
Who are her partners?
¿Cuáles son sus socios?
No, yo no tengo socio, yo trabajo con mi hijo.
I don't have any partners. I work with my son.
Who's Carrie Nova?
¿Quién es Carrie Nova?
¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué es eso? No
Who is
entendí.
Carrie Nova?
Yeah. Does she have a representative, Carrie Nova?
¿Usted tiene un representante que se llama Carrie Nova?
No.
Carrie Nova.
Who
No.
filed her application?
¿Quién hizo la solicitación, la aplicación para usted?
Yo tengo, ¿cómo se dice? Tirado asociado, porque me hizo.
Un tirado asociado. She had an associate do it for her.
So what's the name, person's name?
¿Cuál es el nombre del asociado?
Tirado y asociado del nombre, eso en la oficina donde yo pago por la corporación.
Así se llama, tirador. Tirador y asociador. Tirador and association. That's the name.
This application doesn't properly reflect your involvement in this business, so I'm gonna deny this. If you actually spent $5,000, I'm gonna ask you to file another application.
Esta aplicación no refleja lo que usted verdaderamente solicitó, entonces yo voy a negarlo.
Her date of birth wrong. Yeah, I'm gonna vote to deny as well. There's too many unanswered questions. $5,000 is all that is the alleged investment, even though she previously filed information that indicated they spent she spent $30,000 to purchase the business.
Yo también voy a negarlo porque
I question whether there's a straw buyer involved.
Pagó $5,000, aunque usted puso $30,000 en la aplicación.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
All right, I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. If you could just go over to the table to help you out, Shonda. Next is 145, Barclay Wine and Liquor, Inc.
Yeah, I know how, right? Good morning. You said Barclay, right? Barclay. Good morning, Michael James. With me, Baljit Singh, the applicant, and also Harpreet, who will be managing the store.
You gotta bring your voice up.
Sorry. Who will be the employee of the store. I do see Mr. Romano here as well, so I'll let him speak.
Good morning, everyone. Robert Romano. I'm representing Olivino LLC, which is the closest store to this proposed application, or to this application for the proposed store. I'd like to point out that there are 3 stores in less than 800 feet. Actually, my client's store is only 713 feet away. There's one 729, another at 785 feet away. That is my first point. My second is that the numbers and Ms. Pilari's numbers do not show support for another store. If you look back from 2019, which previous to that, her numbers were significantly higher, much more significant. She'll mention that right in a moment. But another store came into the neighborhood, kicking her down a few notches. Between 2021 and 2022, she had a 14% reduction in her first 9 months of the years. Another point I'd like to make is that if you look at the application, it is showing total expenses of $35,000. And this
I'm sorry, what was your final number for 2022 again?
2022, she'd shown $575,000. That's the first 9 months.
I know, but what's the number for the 12 months? Now you have it.
Now,
Oh.
I finished down 6% in 2022 from 2021.
Down 6% overall from
Yep.
21.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you for asking that. The application indicates, $35,000 in total expenses for this business venture. That also is inclusive of $15,000 towards renovations. That would leave $20,000 for rent, leasehold security, inventory, and even their representative here today, I would assume those figures are all included. When you take into account this is a new building, you're going to have 1 month rent in advance. I'm assuming 2 to 3 months, the standard 2 to 3 months security. It leaves no money for inventory and for operating expenses. And I point out that this applicant personally has zero experience that they've demonstrated or shown to the authority in their application in any form of retail. They're just showing, a different industry altogether. I really believe that at this size store and in their application, they have not indicated that they're going to be offering anything that's not already offered in the neighborhood. There would be no public convenience or advantage to be gained by the opening of this store. And my client, Ms. Catherine, would like to say a few words.
Thank you. My name is Katrine Polari, and I am the owner and operator of Olivino. In July of 2004, when I opened Olivino, I was at the forefront of the wave of boutique neighborhood wine shops. I was the first store to operate in this footprint. The business grew steadily for 10 years. Then, in May of 2015, Leon & Son opened up 2.5 blocks from me. My sales plummeted 30%. In 2016, they went down another 9%. In 2017, it started to get a little better. It only went down 1%. Finally, in 2018, there was a slight turnaround and the numbers and sales increased. However, sales for this past year, which I just told you were down 6%, I have not yet done the numbers that I did in 2014. That was my best, highest revenue to date. So why? Because along with Leon & Son, 2 other stores opened up in this footprint. So now there are 4 of us vying for the same customers, along with Drizzly, Grubhub, Uber Eats, and Instacart. Coupled with business challenges of rising rents, higher employee costs, if you can even find them, and the overall industry trend of the slowdown in alcohol consumption. Article after article these days is discussing the trend of Gen Zers and millennials drinking far less than baby boomers. The growth of 0% alcohol products also attests to that fact. I have lived in Clinton Hill since 2000, but the footprint just does not support a 5th store in this area. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am, do you know the other stores that are nearby you? Like, do you know the owners?
I do.
Are they aware that this is going on?
They are Leon & Son, Chris Leon.
Because they didn't respond to us.
He did not respond. I don't know why. He's in Michigan. He verbally said, yes, I support you, but he is not here today, you know.
No, but we didn't get sales numbers from him either.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, good morning once again. I think it should come as no surprise, considering the massive development in this particular area, it should come as no surprise that a store is applying to open here. I will also touch on the fact that 2 stores, which one of I believe was the closest to Olivino, closed down. They closed down in 2018. Another store closed down, I believe, in 2017 or 2019.
What were the addresses of those stores?
I'll give them to you now. I include them in my submission if you have them, if you have it in front of you. That store was Clinton Hill Liquors, Inc. That was located at 1017 Fulton Street. They operated from 2014 to 2018. The other store was Skyline Wine and Spirits Corp. That was located on 988 at Lang Avenue. I believe that was one of the 4 closest to Olivino. They operated from 2017 to 2019. And they purchased the store from Prospect Corporation, who had operated from 2011 to 2017. So there's always been a store there. as far as closest to Olivino. Even while,
Those two stores are not, those are not within the 4 closest stores.
well, now they are. It's not operating. Well, I'm not going to respond, respectfully. I'm going to address the board. Combined with the 2 stores closing, and then the massive development in the area, including in my submission, I listed several developments, which is not actually identified or addressed by the opposition. It's over 1,000 units, 1,200 units that is going into the area, massive developments, and one of the developments are 6,500 units by itself, next to Barclays. We are only a block away from Barclays. The area clearly supports development, increase in population, and also that the sales numbers also support that they're doing well and can support a new store. Contrary to the 2022 number, Olivino by itself, the only reporting store, has seen an increase in sales every single year. And I think that can't be ignored. And the only way to explain that is that the area can support a new package store or their increase in sales. That's literally what it is. So for those reasons, I do want to address the fact that my client does not have experience in retail. And that's why he has his employee here today that has managed a package store previously and will bring that experience to the store and allow him to manage it. Additionally, my client has additional funds. We actually just spoke about it this morning, that he has saved up additional funds to fund the venture. I've also spoken with the landlord personally to allow for a little bit more room in the process. We did think the process would resolve quicker and process quicker, but it hasn't. As you know, we've had delays in the process with the application. So for those reasons, I do ask that you grant this application and find public convenience and advantage.
So you're basically acknowledging that $35,000 isn't enough to open this liquor store?
I'm not.
That's all I put down on the application?
No, I'm not saying that that's not enough.
Well, then explain to me how it is enough.
Well, I'm answering the question. I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
So now I'm asking another question. Explain to me how it is enough.
Well, at the time of the application, that's what it took to process it. And
so he doesn't right now, that $35,000 is not going to allow him to stock the store?
Well, Chairman, that's why I'm submitting that he has additional funds.
But we don't have, that's my point. The application, the point of the application is so we have that information in front of us so that we can review it and make a determination if the money actually is legit and it came from him.
Right.
Now you're telling me he's going to pull a Brinks truck up to the liquor store so that he can actually stock it. We have no idea where the money came from.
Well, and that's the point. We can't put on the application monies that we don't have and we can't show. And during the process.
But you can't open a store if you don't have the money.
But we can show the money. At this point in time, we can.
But the time to show it is when you submit the application or amend the application.
Well, you could have amended it. That point was not made to us.
How long have you been here? You've been doing this. You've been doing this. I'm going to have to take a break because I'm not going to be able to handle it. I need to tell you, you can amend an application.
No,
I'll be back in 5 minutes.
We're going to go on a brief recess. We'll be back shortly. Back on the record after a brief recess.
Go ahead.
Me or Commissioner? So, Mr. Chairman, we left off at the funds. So two things. I have been here a while, and I do know that you can amend an application after the fact, after you submit it. However, we do have to show those funds when it comes to a package store application. Additionally, there were non-monetary considerations that were given by the landlord that would not show up. There was no way to prove non-monetary, unless, you could supply a letter from the landlord stating that he's been working with these particular tenants in order to allow them to have more room and flexibility in their finances. Obviously, this is a stretched thin budget, but that does not, they did enter in the lease, they have put it in an application. And so if you'd like to see additional funds at this time, we can do that. But I'm not stating.
The problem I have, which Mr. Romano also pointed out, is I don't see how this business gets off the ground no matter what the landlord does. 15,000 in renovations, you put down that they spent that.
They will spend that.
Or will or did.
Well, that's an estimate.
Right.
That's an estimate.
Then you got 20,000 left for rent, inventory, insurance, your fee. To stock this place is got to be $50,000.
And let me.
I know, but now you're telling me he's got more money.
Well, Mr. Chairman, not everyone comes here and has all the money right then and there.
Yeah, but they're supposed to, and you've seen it hundreds of times. And we just questioned somebody before because they said they put $5,000 into a place.
Well, that's a little low.
This is a lot low.
Mr. Chairman, I've seen it before, and I've actually done this before in front of you, where a client has actually withheld applying for credit because they don't know whether or not they will be approved, and they don't want to mess up their credit before doing so. There are many reasons why people will not have all of the money at the application, the time of application. If that is the case, then I'll ask for it to be put over, and I'll amend the application if it's acceptable.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do that because I'm not voting for it at 35,000.
Okay. I'll make that
You
that
want to
request.
just amend it then?
Yes.
All right, amend it and come back.
Thank you.
This is not.
February 1st?
Why don't you give them until February
15.
15? Yeah.
All right, 2:15.
2:15.
Thank you.
Yep.
Next is 124 Stop and Go Inc.
I'm Robert Romano again for Stop and Go Inc. This is a conditional no contest plea in the amount of $7,500 after consultation with
Third
counsel.
time
I have explained in detail to this
since September
licensee.
of 20.
I have explained in detail there will be, if you are gracious enough to accept this, that they will be on beyond double secret probation. They will be given no other
Yeah, that's good.
chances.
Time has run out. I'll accept.
Commissioner.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Should be 10, but
Next is 143 White Horse Hospitality LLC.
Good morning, members. Max Bookman and Phil Dorn with Kozetzky and Bookman PC. With me is my client, Eitan Sugarman, the principal of White Horse Hospitality. This
Is community board here?
I don't see Mr. Booth here.
Oh, okay. You're from the community board?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, no, I am from New York.
Okay. Let them speak. You guys can have a seat.
Hello. Hi. Happy New Year. Yes. Oh, you too. Happy New Year. I forgot. I'm a neighbor and a member of the West Village Residents Association. I have submitted to the commissioners a article from Cranes that reported that the owner of the property, the existing property, and also 561, Stephen Cromer, a convicted felon, has started an eviction action against the White Horse Hospitality LLC. So it is unclear if the current applicant will be in control of the existing White Horse Tavern or 561.
The owner is a convicted felon?
Yes,
And
Stephen
therefore,
Cronin.
he's not holding the license, and he rented this space to him a few
Yes.
years ago.
Yes.
And now he's getting evicted?
No,
due to-
he's evicting
He is
Mr. Sugarman's
evicting
group.
due to,
Attempting to evict.
due to unpaid rent?
Yes, that's what
Okay.
was reported.
Okay, okay.
So, and that was in September. So assuming that Mr. Croman, who's very familiar with how, I understand how to evict tenants, is successful, then Mr. Sugarman's group will not have access to the existing White Horse Tavern
I understand.
or the previously unlicensed space at 561.
What is
So-
the previously unlicensed place?
Is what's
that-
be-
Is
before
that
us.
the same, look, is that the same thing?
Yes, there was a series of.
Oh, previous
taverns.
and like that's in this, I got it.
Right. And previously, this was occupied by a beloved stationary Golden Rabbit store for 30 years, beloved in the neighborhood.
I know, we've lost all our stationary stores in the neighborhood.
Yes. I'd also like to note that on the diagram, which presumably the commissioners have seen, which was submitted with a 30-day notice to CB2, that it, among other things, it doesn't indicate that at 561, which is at the bottom of the diagram,
Mhm.
which they're arguing should be, the alteration should allow that to be part of White Horse Tavern. They don't note that the roadbed structure, which we find very problematic, is that there is a very active bike lane between the premises and the proposed roadbed structure.
So let me ask
If
you,
I may
so
approach.
right now, the structure already exists and it's all the way down here, right?
Yes, and it also doesn't.
This entire thing is there outdoor? And this is going to be on the other side of the bike lane?
Yes.
Is that right?
If I may, I don't.
Yeah, go ahead.
The bike lane runs all the way here. Now, currently, this enclosure, which I have described as the tiki bar facade, which I do not believe is legal, then we have the sidewalk, and they do not have a roadbed structure here, precisely because the enforcement, we put out to them at the beginning of they had set up a barge in a turn lane.
Yes, I remember that. So that was here before, and now they've basically moved everything to the sidewalk.
Also, they have, this is, they have now a roadbed structure here.
Oh, okay.
So they have the roadbed structure here, what is actually a fully enclosed sidewalk cafe.
No, I know, I've seen it. I know.
Thank you. then I don't have to-
Yes.
But what the diagram does not indicate is that all of this is a very active bike lane, which is an issue, I believe, for having.
For this cross, yes, I got it. Okay, thank you.
And not to take up too much of your time, I'll just note that as the 561 building has never had an OP, I do believe that the 500-foot rule applies to it. And I do not believe that a persuasive argument can be made that it's in the public interest to issue an OP here.
Okay. Well, it
Thank you.
certainly doesn't. Yeah, okay, I thank you. Thank you for coming.
There's another member of the neighborhood.
Hi.
My name is Norma Cote. I'm a close neighbor of the White Horse.
How close?
1 block. The White Horse is on the corner of Hudson and 11th Street. I live on the corner of Hudson and Bank, 1 block up.
Got it.
It's a residential neighborhood, despite the fact that there are storefronts on the ground floor. People still do live upstairs. There are still businesses in this area that cater to local residents, the post office down the street, the drugstores across the street, there's a flower. Pedestrians need to be able to use that sidewalk, especially the neighbors who live close by. This building, this business is a major obstacle to pedestrian traffic on that street. And it's largely due to the nature and the method of operation of this restaurant. It's a bar. It's not a restaurant. It's more a watering hole. And it attracts large numbers of young people who come there in groups as a social occasion. They're loud, they're boisterous, they linger on the sidewalk, either waiting to get in or trying to decide whether they want to go in, or doing their departure ceremonies when they leave. It's sometimes almost impossible to get down the sidewalk on that street. And it's no accident that the business attracts this kind of clientele. It intends to attract this clientele. If you look inside their sidewalk area, they have set it up with long rectangular tables that seat 6. This is not a place that caters to, a couple of people on an evening out. Now they want to take over the space next door, which is, it's now a pizzeria. Very recently, it's become a food operation. As a pizzeria, it can't accommodate groups of 6. It doesn't have many chairs and tables anyway. It doesn't stay open till 4 o'clock in the morning. It gets a lot of its business, I presume, from takeout. We don't need another bar. We don't need more of a bar in this neighborhood. We certainly don't need more of the White Horse. Thank you for hearing me.
Can I just take 1 minute and talk to council before you start?
We're going to go on a brief recess to conference with council.
May we proceed?
Back on the record after a brief conference with council.
Good morning again, members. I'd like to do two things with my time. One is to briefly cover the specifics of this alteration application, and the second is to address some of the points that were made by Ms. Quinn from the opposition. White Horse Tavern, second oldest eating and drinking establishment in New York City. It's been around in one form or the other since the late 1800s. It is exempt from the 500-foot law.
Where does it say that?
It's been continuously licensed.
The existing premises.
That's right, and we can get into the point made by Ms. Quinn, but the existing premises is not subject to the 500-foot law. When Mr. Sugarman bought the business in 2019, it was disclosed then that the premises was not subject to the 500-foot law.
That's correct. I think, though, the point still remains about whether the additional.
Well, I think that's an interesting point. I'd like to get to it in a moment. The application itself here, just to focus on what's before the members, is an incredibly modest one. All that we're seeking to do here is take the existing pizzeria, which Mr. Sugarman also owns and operates next door, and create an opening between the two so that the 225 square feet of the pizzeria may now be included in the existing license. No change in method of operation, no other changes sought, just a very simple alteration. So that's what's before the members.
Well, he is going to increase the roadside bed as well, correct?
Pardon me, I forgot to mention that, Mr. Chairman. You're right, and I'm sure we'll be talking about that as well. The existing pizzeria currently under the New York City Department of Transportation Open Restaurants Program has roadbed dining. That's the roadbed dining that Ms. Quinn was pointing out to Commissioner Fan when we approached. So that would be included. We're seeking to include that as part of the licensed premises as well. The other outdoor seating, the sidewalk cafe, always been a sidewalk cafe there. So the other outdoor seating, that's part of the existing licensed premises. None of that is part of this application. So some responses to the opposition. Just very briefly, the owner of the building has nothing to do with my client other than that he's the landlord. They're not in business together. There's no relationship there. The owner is the landlord, my client is the tenant. So the aspersions that were cast about felonies and reasons just don't apply. There's no relationship there. The Cranes report was accurate at the time. There was litigation. That litigation was settled. So Mr. Sugarman is in the business, in the location. There's no eviction. He's not leaving anytime soon. Not that that would necessarily be relevant for this application anyway, but just to correct the record. On the 500-foot law question, the 500-foot law applies to the authority's issuance of new licenses. Does not apply to applications to alter the licensed premises.
Where does it say that?
It says that in the text of the 500-foot law.
It does
Sure it
not.
does. Applications for new licenses under 64 or 64A.
That's not what it says.
Well, of course I defer to Mr. Donahue's recollection of the ABC law. I don't have the
Pull it up and read it if you like.
Well, I don't have it in front of me because I actually didn't think this would be an issue. But I mean, and so I'd be curious to see what it says.
Well,
But
see, here's my problem and why I tend not to agree with you what it says. Say that I have, and we're discussing this outside, so it's no secret. Say that I have a 10-seat restaurant that, little tiny thing that is grandfathered out of the 500-foot law. And I get a license because I don't have to go to the community board. And I got all the hours I want, and I got all the music I want, and I got whatever I want. The building next door is 20,000 square feet. I knock the wall out, and I decide now I'm going to turn my little 10-seat restaurant into a 500-seat restaurant because it's 20,000 square feet. Same method of operation, same everything. Do you think the intent of the 500-foot law was to allow that to happen?
So 3 responses to that, Mr. Chairman.
I only am looking for one.
Well, I have 3. One is that's definitely a hard case. That's not the case you have here.
No,
Well,
we have the opposite case here.
It's not.
The law is the law. If there's a loophole that allows you to get around the statute, then that loophole probably shouldn't be there.
3 responses. First of all, you said a harder case. This case is not that case. It's the inverse. That's number 1. Number 2 is that this would be turning your back on, as far as I'm aware, an unbroken line of agency precedent going back. I mean, you've never I've been doing this for 8 years. You've never held a 500-foot hearing for an alteration application. It's essentially as black letter law as it gets in this agency, that alteration applications, even for premises that are not subject to the 500-foot law because they're grandfathered,
I don't recall
not subject.
myself having dealt with this situation before.
The issue has not come before the board.
That's why I asked the question.
Well, it's definitely come before the licensing board.
That may be, but I don't remember having to.
Definitely come before the
consider
licensing board.
But not, it's the full board, the members of the authority who make agency policy.
Well, I don't think there's agency policy that says that an application for a premises that's been grandfathered under the 500-foot law suddenly
But
becomes
this premise-
subject to the
this
500-foot law because
hasn't
there's
been
an alteration.
This premises that you're seeking to expand to hasn't been grandfathered.
Well, it's part of the same license.
No.
Deputy Commissioner.
Here,
It's the same license. We're not seeking a new
This
license.
is the language. No retail license for premises consumption shall be granted for any premises.
I'm not
You're
asking you-
seeking-
I'm not asking you to issue a license.
Let me finish. You're seeking to have the authority grant a license, extend the existing license. That's a grant of a license to this premises.
May I speak now?
Yeah.
Deputy Commissioner, I'm not asking you to grant a license. If you approve this application, you will not be issuing a license. Your agency will not be issuing a license. You just read the law.
Yeah.
Grant a license. This is not an application for a license. This is an application to alter an existing licensed premises. It's not the same, Deputy Commissioner. It's not the same.
You're not altering, you're adding to the existing. You're adding a premise that is not grandfathered and making it grandfathered.
I am not adding
You
a
certainly
premises.
You certainly are licensing a new premise.
I am not, Mr. Chairman. I'm not asking you to issue a license to a new premises. I am asking you to alter an existing license. If you approve this application, you're not going to be issuing a new license.
I disagree with you. We're licensing a space that has never been licensed, is subject to the 500-foot law, and by itself, and you're trying to say, just because I'm knocking a wall down, it shouldn't be subject.
Knocking a wall down to add 225 feet, I think that would be news to everybody in this room, that that's subject to the 500-foot law.
It's news to me, because I told you, I've never, in my time here, myself, dealt with this situation. I haven't. As you know, there's very few grandfathered establishments out there. He happens to be one of them. So it doesn't come up a lot, and it hasn't come up in front of me.
Well, let me try something else.
That I'm aware of.
Let me try something else, Mr. Chairman. I mean, you've heard what I had to say. I've heard what you had to say on that. I'm not sure that the community board process or what's before you would come out any different, even if this were subject to the 500-foot law.
Speculate on it.
Well, what else can we do? We're here. We can't go back and have a 500-foot hearing.
Yes, you can. That's one, you can do that. And two, you're probably right. The community board would come out against it. But then we have to take their opinion into account because it's a 500-foot law, or more so than we usually do. And you don't think, coupled with his recent history with us, that that's going to knock this out?
I think at its core,
I was building outdoor seating in the middle of a road, which I happened to see because I had to go. The reason I ended up spending my summer in New York City that year was mostly because of him.
Mr. Chairman, that was a serious violation for which
Violations
for which a serious penalty was paid.
We had to come to him, me included, multiple times with police officers and tell him what he was doing was illegal and unsafe. You know what he told us? Do you?
I think you're about to tell me.
I can't control the crowd. Yeah, you can. You know how you control the crowd? You shut the doors, you turn the lights off, and you go home.
Mr. Chairman, he doesn't get a scarlet letter forever for that. He paid he paid for that, a significant fine, and there's been no violation since. And there's been no violation since.
Double the size of the place.
Excuse me, not double the size of the place.
Capacity is going from 90 to 180.
He's adding 225 square feet. It's a small
Your application indicates
pizzeria.
that the capacity is going to 180. That's double.
He's not doubling the size of the place.
No. The maximum capacity is currently 150.
And now it's going to 180?
180.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he's not doubling, he's increasing it by a third.
It's to add a pizzeria to the premises.
But the guy has not, he's got a canceled license. He has not shown to be a friend of the community. He has not shown that he's capable of following the law. In fact, he refused on multiple occasions to follow the law.
One other point, Mr. Chairman, because this just came to me. The original White Horse Tavern was not, hold on, look, I know, no, please.
That's got nothing to do with
It-
this.
it-
So
it-
if you're gonna tell us not to take all the stuff he did during COVID, then stop telling me that
that's-
he's a second license and somehow I need to protect the history of New York, like, because that's not
I'm not-
fair.
I'm
Like,
not-
that's how you started this presentation, sir.
All right, well, I wanted you to know that this premises has been
I
licensed.
do know that.
Okay, well, that's all I wanted you to know, and what I was about to say.
Society is after him,
Right.
like, I mean,
We've
everybody.
never had a single landmarks violation. If I could say what I wanted to say, you said this has never come before the board before, perhaps so, but this very premises has been altered several times over the years. So it was always grandfathered under the 500-foot law, and your agency has approved prior alterations, never with a 500-foot hearing.
I did not tell you
So
that.
it's the very premises. So
But that doesn't make it right, right? I mean, we've made mistakes before. We frequently make mistakes on 200-foot cases.
I think you're making a legal error if you're gonna hold that you're granting a license, that Mr. Donahue quoted the statute, that you're granting a license here, and you're gonna hold a 500-foot hearing and subject to the 500-foot law. I think you're making a clear legal error.
Okay, well, you can go find out, because, you know, I've done things here trying to help the licensee against the 500-foot, and I've been overruled. The communities have sued, and I've been told I'm wrong trying to help with the grandfathering, so. I don't think we have.
That's actually
I
very
really
correct.
don't, and we got sued for legal fees, like the community's legal fees. I mean, this is, you know.
I'm aware of that lawsuit.
So you can take it up with court. I'm gonna vote to deny.
Chairman Bradley?
If you're gonna hold, I mean, we don't agree with this, but at minimum, could you send it for a 500-foot hearing? I mean, we don't agree to your interpretation of the law, but at minimum, can we do that?
We send it to a 500-foot hearing, and then you can, if you want to sue us, you can sue us. Because she's right, I do try to circumvent this as much as I can legally. There's no question about that. I've tried to grandfather places in, I've tried to extend it, I've asked them to try to extend it, and when we get sued, we've lost.
I'm aware, and there's nothing personal here. I'm aware of that, and of that history.
Now, the person that's suing us is now going after attorney's fees, which comes out of our budget. So I need to be a little more, I guess.
Respectful of the statute.
Yeah.
That's our job.
It's apparent that we pushed it as far as.
I think that's fair, and I sympathize with the situation here, and I think you've gone too far in the other direction here. I think the statute is clear, but you've heard me out on that already. So at minimum, let's send it to a 500-foot hearing.
Okay.
Commissioner Fanning, okay with that?
That's fine.
Stick around.
So return the license.
I have the next matter.
Next is 113. It's a request for a declaratory ruling.
If I could just have a moment to switch my papers.
The owner here with you on that? Oh, 113?
113.
I'm sorry.
May I proceed, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning again, members. Max Bookman, Kozetzky and Bookman, PC, representing the applicant for a declaratory ruling, Ortega National Parks, LLC. This is a declaratory ruling request that seeks to ask for the members' approval of a certain application of the three-tier law and the gifts and services law to a set of facts that we set out in our request. Would the members like me to briefly summarize the facts, or should I go directly into the legal argument?
I'll go into the legal argument. I think we know the fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. 3 points, 3 legal points, and these track my papers. First is when you're considering whether there's a 3-tier issue, you have to look at section 101(1)(a). That's the manufacturer's side 3-tier law that says that no manufacturer may have an interest in any retailer. We think that's the easiest to dispose of here. Mr. John, who is the holder of a solicitor's permit, is not a manufacturer. We know that because the definition of manufacturer under the ABC law in section 3 defines that as someone who is a brewer or a distiller or the operator of a winery. He is none of those things. We also know that because if you look at section 93 of the ABC law, which covers solicitor's permits, that section does not require the holder of a solicitor's permit to also hold a manufacturing license. And being the holder of a solicitor's permit in and of itself does not allow one to manufacture alcoholic beverages. Therefore, under all of the the relevant authorities, it's pretty clear and fair to say that someone who holds a solicitor's permit without more is not a manufacturer. So that side of the three-tier law doesn't apply. Always when you're considering a three-tier law issue, you then have to look at the flip side of that coin.
Wait. You're leaving out part of the side house law. It's manufacturers and wholesalers.
Well, he's clearly not a wholesaler.
No. Well,
for the same reasons. So, pardon, sorry.
Okay. That's up to the members to decide. But you just made this argument about manufacturers, and you left out wholesalers. They're specifically mentioned in that law.
Well, you're correct, Deputy Commissioner, that I did not quote the entire statute. My argument was focused on manufacturers because that is for whom Mr. John has a solicitor's permit. He has a solicitor's permit associated with the manufacturer, but I don't dispute.
Who has wholesale privileges?
A manufacturing license with wholesale privileges, yes, but I don't dispute the point.
My point is, you started talking about a law and specifically left out a whole section of that law.
Well, it wasn't intentional, it just wasn't relevant.
He didn't think it applied. I think it does apply based on what you're saying, because he
Well, I don't know if it does
is a
or doesn't.
wholesaler and a retail, and a manufacturer.
I don't know if it does or doesn't. That's up to you.
Yeah.
But
So, yeah, just to close the loop on that point, Ports of New York, which is the winery, is a winery license. Like all winery licenses, it's a manufacturing license with wholesale privileges. And the solicitor's permit that Mr. John has is associated to that license. I don't think that makes Mr. John a wholesaler or a manufacturer, and I know that's for the members to decide, and the argument that I'm making to the members in hopes that they decide in my favor on that is that if you look at the relevant definitions, a solicitor without more cannot manufacture alcoholic beverages, and they can't wholesale alcoholic beverages. So if you move to the flip side of the three-tier law, which is section 106 sub 13, which is the retailer side, which prohibits retailers from having interests in manufacturers, the analysis is a little different. I mean, clearly, and the question that you're asking there is whether Mr. John, who for the purposes of this argument is a retailer because he's the trustee of 3 trusts, which indirectly have interests in retail licenses, so let's call him a retailer. The question is whether he directly or indirectly through his solicitor's permit has the interest in the manufacturer. And there, we think your recent declaratory rulings over the summer in the Amazon case
here you go again, okay? That's not what the law says. The law says the retailer can't have an interest in a business that either manufactures or sells at wholesale alcoholic beverages. Not a wholesaler or a manufacturer, but a business that does one of those two things.
Well, I'll accept that amendment, Deputy Commissioner Donahue, but I don't think it doesn't change my argument, Deputy Commissioner, because as I was going to say.
I don't care if it changes or not. Please don't misstate the law. That's all I'm asking you.
Mr. Donahue, the law is multifaceted and has a number of nooks and crannies, and I'm trying to make the argument that's most relevant. You're right, I'm not quoting the entire ABC law in this declaratory ruling request. I'm trying to quote the relevant aspects.
Go ahead, move forward.
What I was saying is that I think your recent rulings in the Amazon declaratory ruling and the retail employee declaratory ruling over the summer, those were heard, as the members may recall, on the same day. The Amazon case was Mr. Skeens. The retail employee case was either Mr. Bernstein or Mr. Savitsky, I forget who. And particularly the retail employee case, I think is really relevant here. In that case, and in the Amazon case for that matter as well, what you held is that an indirect interest in a business that manufactures or wholesales alcoholic beverages is going to be considered in a very limited and circumscribed respect. It's only going to be, an indirect interest really only means moving forward equity interests or debt interests. So for example, if an individual had an ownership interest in an entity very high up on an organizational chart that many entities down indirect, holds a retail license, that's an indirect interest. But in the retail employee case, and I think this is really relevant to this ruling, what that involved was a manufacturer, a person who was in the process or had just obtained an actual manufacturing license, not a solicitor's permit, a manufacturer who came to you saying that they want to be employed as the general manager of a retailer. And in approving that arrangement, you touched on this indirect interest language, and what you said was that because this manufacturer is only going to have an employment relationship with the retailer. He's not going to own the retailer. He's not going to lend money and create a debt relationship with the retailer. That is not an indirect interest within the meaning of the ABC law. It's too attenuated. And so moving forward, things like employment relationships without more, if it's just, a salaried employee, are not enough. I think that's very favorable to this case because here you have a retailer that is asking you to allow someone who is a trustee way up the chain, not even to be an employee of a manufacturer, but to be an independent contractor of a manufacturer. So using the same logic as the retail employee case and the Amazon case, because Mr. John does not have any equity interest in the manufacturer, because Mr. John does not have any debt relationship with the manufacturer, he doesn't own the manufacturer, he's not lending money to the manufacturer, because he's simply an independent contractor of the manufacturer, it's not enough of a relationship.
How is he compensated when he solicits an order?
He gets a fee for his services, and his fee is not determined by a percentage of sales.
So he gets a fee no matter what?
He gets a fee no matter what.
And what would happen if we said no? He would have to get off as a trustee?
One of two things would have to happen. He would either have to not be the trustee anymore, or he'd have to give up his solicitor's permit. He'd have to pick, but he couldn't do both.
Right. Is he getting paid to be the trustee?
He may be getting some small compensation. The reason he's the trustee is that he is a longtime family friend of the owner of the business, Mr. Nolan. The trusts are Mr. Nolan's children's trusts, so it's 3 children's trusts. And Mr. John is an attorney, he's a member of the Tompkins County Legislature, he's a respected person, so he's a trustee. So he may get some stipend, I'm not sure. But it would be difficult to unwind that. These trusts are in multiple businesses. They're not, owning these retail licenses indirectly is the least of it. They're minority owners in these retail licenses. They don't control the retail licenses. So,
And these are restaurants that are doing business with this winery?
No, and that's the third point, Commissioner Fan, which is on the gifts and services issue. Mr. John and the trusts, but Mr. John in particular, have zero involvement whatsoever in the operation of these OPs whatsoever. He has no control, no management decisions, no purchasing decisions, and as belt and suspenders, and this was helpful to the members in the retail employee case, we've made the representation in our papers that my client and Mr. John will not, my client will not carry the products of this particular winery that Mr. John is a solicitor for, and Mr. John will not seek or solicit to my client that they in fact do carry the products. So there is no overlap there. So no gifts and services law issue either.
He's getting a salary to be the solicitor. You're sure about that?
He's an independent contractor, so I wouldn't call it a salary, but he gets a fee that's not determined by the amount of sales that he makes.
What's that fee?
I don't have the exact number in front of me.
Why is he doing this? Just because he enjoys it?
He lives in Ithaca, and he has a personal interest in Finger Lakes wines. As I said, he's a member of the Tompkins County Legislature. So, he thinks it's important for the economy of the Finger Lakes, and he likes promoting Finger Lakes wines. It's what we call a side hustle.
Interesting person. I'll have to meet him. Look, I think just given the facts here, I think there is enough distance between his work with the winery and his role as a passive trustee on a trust that has to do with his friends' children and their interests that happen to hold retail licenses. So I'm going to vote in the affirmative that this declaratory ruling and determine that there's no title issue here.
And I'm going to do the same. I don't believe that the solicitor, particularly an independent contract solicitor who holds a permit with us, has an interest, direct or indirect, in the manufacturer he's working for. So I'm going to vote to that there is also no tied house issue.
Thank you, members.
Next,
now that I'm going to also point out, because you'll be the next guy in here telling me that the next guy should do the same, that analysis could change if just a few small facts changed, such as how he was paid, and things of that nature.
Understood, and you're always careful to admonish that, declaratory rulings are specific to the facts, and so we understand that. Yes. Thank you.
Next is 108 T&J Convenience Store Inc.
108.
108.
Thomas, Thomas Burke from the Law Office of Stacy Weiss. This is a default. However, prior to the report date.
Back to counsel's office.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Next is 148 Calzone NY LLC. Calzone.
Collezione.
148.
148. So once again, Thomas Burke from the Law Office of Stacy L. Weiss. I believe there's opposition to this application.
Okay.
So we'll step aside.
Mr. Lynn.
Charles Lynn in opposition. With me today is Mahir Patel. He's the manager of Manhattan Wines and Spirits Merchants INC, which is at 929 Lexington Avenue. Also with me is Brian Goodman. He is the manager of Dan Supreme Supermarkets at 12-75 3rd Avenue. And the third client that I have is New Embassy Liquors at 796 Lexington Avenue.
And how come I don't have numbers for 2 of your 3 clients?
You do, because I supplied them. Supplied them for all 3, and I have them right in front of me.
Do you have them? Can you show them to me? I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
You submitted them in your supplemental submission or your opposition?
Yeah, and also on my.
So what happened?
I don't
Okay, then
know.
I do have them.
What's happening is that
He's sending.
It's happening to me a lot of time. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
our staff gets the gross, that's what they're putting in. They're not reviewing opposition to put information.
I understand.
Your clients really need to respond to the gross sales letter.
I do. And matter of fact, I brought my copy of my letter because I've been admonished for this, that I did send it in when I originally sent in my letter. But this is happening. So,
No,
but
I don't mean as part of your opposition. I mean, we're.
initially when I put in my notice of appearance. So I do it twice now.
Okay. Thank you. I have them.
Go ahead. As far as saturation, the public is already being well serviced by the current stores in the neighborhood. There are 7 stores within 0.7 miles of applicant. And on my initial presentation or my supplemental, you can see the area survey and list of stores annexed there too, which I have marked as Exhibit A. As far as demographics, the applicant zip code 10065 shows a decreasing population in the last 9 years. That documentation is annexed to my supplemental as Exhibit B. There have been 4 recent applicants were just disapproved by the authority in this area. I list them: Winehattan and Liquory York Inc., which is at 1025 Lexington Avenue, and that was disapproved in April of 2019. Wine is Us Corp. At 1230 3rd Avenue, which is at 71st Street, and that was disapproved by the board in July 2019. 9463 Corp. At 1264 3rd Avenue, which is at 74th Street, and that was disapproved by the full board in the fall of 2020. And the last one was Manhattan Wines Inc. at 972 Lexington Avenue, between 70th and 71st Street, and that was disapproved by the full board on June 8th, 2021. Also, I have those serial numbers, more information in my supplemental papers. As far as the gross sales figures, which I just presented, it's attached as Exhibit C, and it will show that these figures show significant decreases in gross sales from the 2018 pre-pandemic period for 3 of the closest stores, which are the 3 stores that I represent. There's no evidence of increased demand for alcoholic beverages based upon population. There's no evidence of increased demand for alcoholic beverages based upon revenue reports for my 3 nearby stores. And there's no showing that the public is not being adequately served by the existing stores. And 4 recent prior applications in this neighborhood have all been recently denied by the board. Based upon all of the following, it should appear that public convenience and advantage will not be served by licensing this applicant.
Mr. Lin, wasn't Millissima, is that a new store? The one on Second Avenue?
Millissima, I believe, just did a removal.
They moved.
They moved,
Okay.
and I think they moved even closer to this store from their prior.
Got it. All right, thank you.
Anybody else here in opposition? Okay.
So the applicants are seeking to open a very distinctive package store on the luxury shopping corridor of Madison Avenue in Manhattan. So this store will be distinctive because a significant portion of the inventory will be high-end rare whiskeys and wine that are not only not available in the area, they're not available to the other liquor stores in the area. This is so because the applicants have long-standing personal relationships with rare and high-end wine and whiskey collectors and auction houses.
Can you explain that a little bit? Because you mentioned how your applicant is going to have a panoply of sources to find these new wines and spirits.
Yes.
And I'm guessing there's a lot of liquor stores that want to know what all these sources are.
Right, they're collectors and auction houses. They've been in this business for 15 years, consulting with people.
Well, hold on. An auction house. So a package store gets a permit to conduct an auction, and any other package store can go there. Why is it just your client?
It's like anything else. It's relationships in business. It's like
Relationships what, with the auctioneers?
Yes, relationships with the auction.
I didn't know more about this.
You can't, what he's trying to say
You enjoying this, Mr. Mailer? Because I am.
sarcastically is, this law is set up so that kind of behavior can't go on. If you're gonna have an auction, then the
Well, I
package,
mean-
it has to be open to the other package.
It is open, it's most definitely open. I mean, they're not having a
Around
closed,
bidding everybody?
they're not having a closed auction, but they're getting a heads up as to when auctions are coming up, what items will be in the
So presumably
auction.
these people could do it.
They certainly could if they had those
And then
relationships.
the other relationships you're talking about, are these collectors or? Are
Yes,
these
collectors.
People that have private collections?
Private
Or
collections.
Are we talking about importers?
No, we're talking about private collectors.
So how vast are their private collections?
15 years they've been establishing these collections. These collections are worth millions and millions of dollars.
Well, who's been establishing them?
Mr. Pellegrini?
Wait, the applicants?
Yes, the applicants.
This is their private collection.
They're probably, and they
So-
deal with
so
other collectors.
They're going to use the liquor store to sell their own private collection.
They're going to use the liquor store to purchase alcohol from collectors.
And from themselves.
And sell it. Well, if they wanted to sell their collections to their liquor store, they're collectors.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, so the global luxury wine and spirits market is anticipated to reach $1.4 billion by 2027. So it is true that people aren't buying Cuervo Gold, and maybe they're not buying Stoli, but there is a demand for liquors that you collect, liquors that you invest in. Now, this store is located in an area with very high worth individuals, and these customers are looking for these items. And the way these customers find these rare items is they have to wait for an auction to come up. They have to hope that their product is going to be offered, the thing they want is going to be offered at that auction. And then they have to register, they have to bid against somebody else. They got to win the bid, and now they have to pay the auction house 26%. This way, they can come to this store. If they want a particular item, these men have sources to reach out, purchase it from a collector, and resell it to them. This doesn't exist anywhere. This is totally distinctive.
Okay, keep going.
That's it. It's by distinction that they should be granted the license. It's an opinion and advantage to the public in that they have things that are desired and are not available.
So here, you're aware that a private collector can sell
Yes, I am.
retail already. They can sell their collection
Yes, they can.
without a license.
Yes, they can.
So your
They can sell to a license.
So your clients who are private collectors have decided that they want to open a store in order to sell their private collection that they could already sell.
No, not at all, not at all. It's just
What is
that,
the business plan? Can you have them speak?
yeah.
So the idea is not to sell our own private collections.
Okay, so what is the business plan? What have you been doing?
So the business plan is to create a retail store that's like no other in New York City. Provides rare, hard to find, vintage, often spirits and wines and champagnes, and provide that in a retail environment. Like you said, right now, the only place that people find these is typically overseas, at auction houses, which creates all the complications. And we want to bring that to the retail environment in New York City in a really high-end luxury retail shopping district, which these are multimillionaires, billionaires, and people who are in some cases creating like 8-figure private collections of their own. And Stefano has spent the past several years, a couple decades almost, in this sort of community of spirits, whiskey, wine collectors, and has proprietary access to those collectors who often, people get older, they retire, they don't have someone to give their collections to, or their kids don't appreciate it, they want to liquidate it. Those are not the kind of people that are going to sell their collections to, an average corner store in New York City. And so what we're proposing is create a real luxury brand around this in a real shopping destination, which is going to bring people from all over the world to come to our store on Madison Avenue in the heart of, the flagship retail stores. These are people who, one spouse may be shopping in Hermes and the other spouse is shopping in our store for, 5 or 6-figure single bottles of spirits. So this is not an experience that any other store in New York City can create because of Stefano's relationships he's developed, and also because of the environment in which we're going to provide those goods in. We're going to provide it in something that's, you've seen the renderings. Those are actual renderings of the store. We've hired an architect to develop that. We put a lot of thought into the design to create a really high-end boutique, almost like a watch store or a high-end shoe store is the environment they're going to get here. It's not going to be bottles and bottles and bottles packed on walls. That's not our model. This is something very different and distinct that you can't find anywhere else.
Who's Robert?
I'm Robert.
You are Robert.
Yes.
So you work in Florida?
No, I work for a Florida-based company.
I see.
Yeah, I work from home.
So you're going to continue your business, or you're going to quit that and do that?
No, I'll continue my career, and I'm supporting Stefano and operating the store full time, and I'm more of a supportive from a financial perspective. Kind of the ins and outs. I have a lot of experience operating like retail healthcare businesses and other things. So
you're going to be the on-site.
No, Stefano will be the on-site person. I'm more in an advisory role and managing the finances of the business, the accounting, the payroll, kind of the behind-the-scenes administration, as well as helping with some of the business strategy.
Okay.
So you have no intention of buying anything from a wholesaler?
That's not true.
No, we will also develop relationships with wholesalers for sure. But again, we're buying in the higher end of the market. We're not going to offer.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Colegio would like to answer that question.
Yeah,
he just did.
Okay, go ahead. You can go ahead.
Good morning, Chairman. Good morning, Commissioner. So just a little story. I collect high-end whiskey for over 15 years, and I've built a very strong relationship around the world with high-end collectors. We are talking about people that spend tens and tens of thousands of dollars per each bottle, going up to even $1 million per bottle. The point for me, after living more than 10 years in the US, I was looking like, as a collector, I really didn't see a lot of liquor stores in New York that were clearly like an aesthetical and environment, and even the people selling this product towards this level of wine and spirit. So in the last 2 years, I was working in the project to say, let me try to put my know-how, my relationship, and create, as Robert said, we invested 9 in a regular street. We try even to invest in Madison Avenue, that is pretty unknown for a liquor store because it's a very expensive premise. to create this kind of boutique level of product. It doesn't mean that we're not gonna purchase from wholesaler. Actually, we have pretty good relationship because as a collector,
I don't understand what that means.
So-
A pretty good relationship with wholesalers.
No, so,
Wholesalers have to sell
Yeah.
their products at the same prices
Absolutely.
to everybody and have to make them available to everybody.
Yes.
Just like each other.
no, so the wholesaler, the wholesaler is gonna sell to whoever he has to sell. But as a liquor store, I have the possibility to sell private collections from important private collector around the world. That right now,
Yeah, but the chairman was asking about the wholesale.
we're gonna work with the wholesaler. We're gonna purchase whatever the wholesaler has offered to us. But we are not looking to sell cheap stuff. We're looking to sell probably,
So like, what are we talking about? You said $10,000. What's the cheapest item in your store gonna be?
no, I'm thinking like, for example, $50, I'm
That's not a
thinking,
collector's item.
No,
It's
no,
a
no, no.
bottle Absolute.
no, we're not gonna, hold on.
Everything in the store is not a collector.
We're not gonna,
So that now we're going into, all right, you're gonna,
Chairman,
your inventory's gonna carry high-end stuff,
no,
but
no.
also the normal everyday
no,
stuff.
absolutely not. I can put it for the records.
Because
When
if
I-
you're gonna carry the everyday stuff.
No,
you're not
when I
gonna
say $50, I'm talking about 2 ounces in miniature of an expensive whiskey. 2 ounces, not the bottle. So the regular bottles, probably whiskey is gonna be, and wine is gonna be an average around $100 and up. That
How
is not,
much do you plan to spend on getting the inventory together?
right now, we have an inventory of probably around $1 million right now in high-end product. We're gonna display
I don't
bottles.
see that in your finances. Do you want to update your finances and then you can come back?
On the finances, the inventory and the
See
finances,
what they have invested.
the finances, the inventory is,
500,000, but he said he's already spent more than $1 million, so.
the inventory and the finances should be around $650,000.
You just told me you spent $1 million.
No, I have.
He has $1 million.
I have, but not that I put it in the store.
So we capitalized the company from the 6 investors, including myself and Stefano. And within that, the capitalizing the company, we each took a percent based on the cash that we put in and based on bottles that we allocated from our.
How much did you capitalize the company at?
So $600,000 in cash and $650,000 in inventory.
Well, it's not showing here. This doesn't disclose that.
We show the cash.
Right, but you're not showing the other half of the money that you supposedly have investors behind.
No, the money that we show is the cash that is
Showing the
liquid
money,
cash.
but not the inventory.
Right.
Yeah, that was it.
But we just went through this with somebody else. okay?
Exactly.
The
And we
list of
didn't give it to
expenses
them
is
because of that.
all your anticipated investments and everything it's gonna cost you, not just certain, whatever you wanna tell us.
It's gonna cost them $650,000.
So our group, our companies we built a capital of $600,000 in cash, I think 600, 650.
And you're gonna sell your private, some of your private collection to.
No, the other partners came in with other 600,000 or 650, I don't remember now the dollars, but those are the average in product already. Plus, we are planning.
And that's not mentioned here.
And the
Doesn't
person-
ask you to mention bottles, it actually mentioned cash.
Do you
Cash or loans.
do you read the list of expenses form?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay.
So I thought that from you, it was asked about the provenance of the
It
cash.
talks about everything you're investing.
Yeah.
Okay, and your expenses. Okay, and what anybody who has a financial interest, which would be the sale of that inventory of this private collection.
Like right now,
I mean, even with the cash we have, we can still, with
I mean,
the financial
and it's a
projection.
different situation in that it's not a concern that there's a straw buyer here because they have obviously put in enough money or at least listed enough money that they're certainly capitalized.
And we could fund the inventory with the cash that we have, but we have this other inventory that's been
No,
allocated.
I don't think anybody's suggesting you're trying to hide anything. It's just that.
No, absolutely, we are not.
What was submitted is not full disclosure of what people have put into this.
I don't know how we enforce that.
Like right now,
Put a minimum.
A price on it? Then your price fixing. All right, we'll do that. Do the other.
Would you
two.
agree to not sell products that are at the closest stores?
Absolutely.
Depending, yeah, absolutely, but we're not gonna sell like $20, $50, or $30 regular bottles.
You're missing a point. It's not negotiable.
Yeah,
This is meaning
usually
that-
how
Will
we
you
do this-
agree not to sell one item that they carry in their inventory?
I don't know their inventory.
Yeah,
when
that's,
we find-
this
we'll
is
find
how
out
we
what
do
they're
it,
doing.
is they give you a list of their SKUs, if they're willing to provide it, and then you're not,
don't
you're
sell
not
them.
allowed to sell those, and you've got to figure out how to not violate that
Right.
within your own
Is
system.
that they're carrying right
Because
now.
based on the growth numbers, there is zero chance that you would get the store, but for the fact that you have this different business concept. And that we're willing to support that business concept, but you have to agree to not violate their turf because their numbers are like desperate.
How soon,
Will you
You will
agree?
get it, you'll
Yes.
organize it and you get it, and it's just as of today. It's not gonna be like an updated thing. They can't start selling what you're selling and then you know,
Commissioner,
it
one
doesn't work like
question.
that. It's as of today and that's it.
That doesn't mean that if tomorrow a wholesaler is approaching us, because they will approach us, a wholesaler.
Yeah, and you tell them that you're not allowed to sell anything that they're selling to the other stores.
You will have a list of things that you are not allowed to sell because they sell them.
Listen, what you're trying to sell us is that you're only gonna carry stuff that other people can't get.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
if that's the case, then that's what she's saying.
That is
You're
the
allowed to
case.
open, we're gonna let you open a store to do that. They're concerned about you competing with them. That would not compete with them.
Okay, absolutely. I
There will be
accept.
do
no
it?
competition.
Okay. In which case I will vote to approve
Can I just make
With-
one response?
with the qualification that they will not sell items that are currently on the shelves
In the four closest?
of the, sorry, let me just.
There's 6.
There
That's
are
what I wanted to
6
address.
closest
Yeah,
stores, so I'm gonna
statement.
take all 6 on here. That's on our list. Manhattan Wine and Spirit Merchants, Dance Supreme Supermarkets, New Embassy Liquor, I-Corp Wine and Spirit, Madison Winery, and Sherry
Well-
Lehman.
Sherry Lehman does sell high
So,
end.
well, Sherry Lehman is not, hold on, Sherry Lehman is not opposing this, right?
No, Sherry Lehman wasn't given that, you're correct.
So should it just be, I'm just tossing this, should it just be the stores that are here that are, because I don't know if we're gonna get a list from,
Yeah, just the ones that are opposing.
But Commissioner, they didn't, they are the 6th store. They didn't get notice that there's a new store coming
They
in.
did get notice
If
because
they're-
they're on our
if
list.
they're on this list, our list, they got notice.
We asked them for sales figures. They got notice. They didn't send them, but
And the only other thing that I'd just like to mention is that Whiskey and Wine on Second Avenue, which is 0.6 miles away, is a client of mine. They carry probably with whiskeys, some of the finest whiskeys there are in the East
No,
Coast.
but this is over on Madison Avenue,
Yeah,
like,
that's
it's
Second
not,
Avenue.
they're not, you know,
We're
it's.
talking- You represent 2 of the closest stores, right?
3 of the closest,
So it's Dan's,
right? Manhattan Wines
Manhattan Wines,
and,
I-Corp.
no, I do not, New Embassy, which is only 0.4 miles away.
Is anybody here from any other stores?
Yes, he is.
I'm
What's-
here,
And what store
I
are you
have the
from?
2 stores here.
No,
Okay.
other than those 3 stores, nobody else's. I would
that's fine.
just suggest those 3 since they're here and represented and they can submit their list.
I'm sure it'll cover the other ones too. All right.
Hey, Chairman, you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay.
I want to say something.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you
Can
very
my
much.
client just say
Yeah.
something?
So, we do have it over $100, like 300 or 400 products.
That's fine,
And-
just put it
and
on your
those
list.
Those are the highly allocated stuff. So this is my understanding, they would not carry any single product from what we have it.
Yes.
Or how about the wholesaler? Are they gonna carry from the wholesaler the same product?
Give your list of what you have on your shelves right now, okay? Give to Mr. Lind.
Mhm.
And then he can
We
submit.
have over 7,000 SKU in the store right now. So they would not carry those SKU in their store. Is that correct?
That's
what we
what
just
the
said.
decision is.
Yeah.
That's what the decision is.
They're gonna get their product from elsewhere, it seems, so.
And if it doesn't happen, you let us know.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's very fair. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Don't go out and start buying stuff right now to add to the list, okay?
We will not.
Between now and tonight. Go ahead.
Next is 144 476 Amsterdam LLC.
What's happening here?
Good afternoon, Martin Miller, Miller, me something. Let me, that's a good question.
This is nothing, right? I think I'm okay with
Yeah,
it.
it's nothing.
Oh, all right.
And I used to eat here.
Okay.
We're gonna keep it.
That's,
the
oh,
same
this,
way?
I'm sorry.
Coming
back
in, I hope.
Yeah.
No, probably not. I used to live over there.
This is the applicant, this is.
Okay, so I'm going to vote to approve. It's background music only. 4 a.m. across the board, and then outdoor until there's 11, 12.
No, yeah, yes, yes.
You're gonna have food available all hours,
Yes, sir.
and you're keeping the dog theme?
It's exactly as it is.
All right, I'll approve under the same conditions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are you actually gonna write dog on the app? No.
No, the whole Fred is a.
No, I know.
Yeah, Labrador Retriever. Yeah.
All right, thank you, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm assuming since it's been so long since I've been there, that Fred has passed away.
You are correct, sorry to say.
Because it's probably a good 15 years.
He didn't tell me it was a.
Thank you very much.
I would have approved it license.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Next is 131 161 OPCO MTK LLC.
All right, I just need a 2-minute break. I'm sorry.
All right, we're gonna go on a
Sorry.
off record for a brief recess. We'll be back shortly.
So, you got, Chairman, you got a complaint about the package store you denied up in Latham?
Yeah.
One of my staff,
All right.
one of my staff said that would have been convenient for her to go.
Oh, well.
To get, yes.
There was? I
That's-
thought
no.
I proposed one and I
No,
got
no,
blown
no.
out of
It's,
the water.
it's 10 years to get the permit. They're proposing to buy from the package stores who were doing the auction. No, you don't. The store that's getting the permit to do the auction has to be licensed for 10 years, okay?
But I tried to get, because we don't know what this private collections are, and we tried to change that, and you would think that the world was going to explode when it became public that I was doing it. I mean.
No, we were talking about the limit on the number of.
No, I know, but I mean, remember when I tried to put a hold limit on this stuff? You're not on that other store, are you? Where the, no, the liquor store. Acker? Acker, Maryland Condit, that's not you? No. That was
You don't see.
I'll make you a deal. If and when they appoint a new council, you keep coming and I'm not gonna come. Okay?
I'll make you a deal. Take one of these and.
No, I have my wife's every gummy in there.
Have you met her?
No. I don't even know which. I heard that she went to tomorrow. I don't know if that's still happening.
Felt Lisa.
I think you've done more than that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, hey, I appreciate that,
No,
Tom.
I literally dealt with you before now, with the prosecution.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate it. I've been fortunate enough to know people in the agency that support me, and were there for me. So obviously, that's the agency I had never been exposed to.
That's what happened, yeah, when I became counsel. I had about maybe 3 months with Tommy T. That's nice. Tommy T. was counsel. And when he could, as much of the background, trade practices, wholesale stuff as much as he could. Then he gave me names of 3 people.
All right, we're back on the record after a brief recess. Again, it's 131, 161, OPCO NTK LLC.
Again, Martin Miller, Buscemi, and I have the owners here. Can you just introduce yourself?
Sure. Hello, Peter Castellano.
Hi.
Vincent Leviana, handle the government relations.
All right. Just before you start asking the questions I know you're going to ask, this application's had a very rocky road. The authority took away a temporary permit, and the permanent application is now before you. Mr. Castellano realized the problem he had, and he took steps to go to the town, sit down with the town, explain to the town that there'd be no reoccurrence of any problems in what it was Rushmeyer's, and convince the town that he was sincere. They believed him. He got rid of any problem that they perceived caused the trouble that was Rushmeyer's, and is humbly coming back before you, asking that the permanent license be issued. He's going to have a staff that will include retired East Hampton police officers as the security. He's also going to have a retired East Hampton fire marshal overseeing the premises. He's going to engage he's down to 2 management companies, which we will reveal to you once he's finalized this thing, that will ensure that nothing untoward goes on in that premises. He realizes the short leash that he's on. He realizes the problems that the premises caused in the past. He is not going to allow it to happen. And if I may
Who are the
add,
2 management companies?
could he approach and tell you who they are?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. And you would rebrand? All right, thank you.
You've seen the stipulation that was signed by both parties, and it is not easy to deal with the town of East Hampton, I'm sure you
I know,
will.
I want to know what's wrong with the town.
What's
Like,
wrong with?
why do they?
That was my
why-
first question,
Like,
too.
they literally would send police to ticket everybody. Like, they don't care. And it's like, I just think there's something wrong with the town.
Something wrong with the town?
Yeah.
Well, okay, I mean, if you want me to agree with you, I will, but I'm just saying you understand how
No, the only
difficult.
reason I disagree with what she's saying, the only reason we ended up out there was because of the town. And them basically getting fed up with what was going on. Some of which was the parking, which apparently is just a horrendous mess. Now, it seems that with nothing more than his word, they've decided that they're going to give them 4 a.m. and let them run it exactly as it was before.
Mr. Chairman.
And there's part of me that says, you know what, you made your bed, you're gonna have to lie in it. And I'm not gonna send guys out there next summer. But the other part of it is I have a responsibility to the people that actually live in the town, which apparently the supervisor is kind of shirking his responsibility, I believe.
With all due respect, it was not just his word. I mean, there were hard discussions. It wasn't as if, please believe me this
Let's
time.
take the evidence. The evidence was, we opened it with a temp with very, very strict restrictions on it, on their word, that nothing would happen, and 3 weeks later, the temp gets yanked.
No, it was 3 days later.
3 days later, the temp gets yanked. So that's the evidence I go on.
He'd like to speak, but, all right, go ahead.
So what's wrong with the town? I'd like to touch on that for a second, but I introduced myself. My name is Peter Castellano. I did not have a background in the hospitality business. I come from the supermarket business. About 2 years ago, I got married, decided to start a family, and investing in seasonal resorts based in East Hampton seemed like a good career change for me.
From the supermarket business?
Yes, and it's a
I don't know who convinced you of that.
It was long hours, long days, but getting into East Hampton hospitality, I was misled, I was deceived, I was disappointed. I fixed one problem, another would pop up, from a bad managing partner not telling the truth to bad operators not respecting the rules. Ultimately, I'm responsible. I was unable to be on site last year during the openings. I had a hip replacement surgery in May of 2022 and a new baby girl in June of 2022. I wasn't able to be hands-on on location, unfortunately. I learned the hard way financially and through experience. I removed everything and everyone that I felt caused problems. I'm the managing partner and the majority owner of both the operating company and the real estate company. When I dug into what was wrong, the town wasn't happy. I went directly after it. It was not difficult to just tell the town the truth. It was difficult to get them to hear the truth with some of the problems in the past. And once we demonstrated black and white evidence of the removal of problem people, of the security companies we engaged, of everything, they met myself who they had not met before. This is my living. This is my priority. I suffered. I fixed our problems. We received that support from the town, and we need a license from the state in order to survive with this property. I understand that words and wishes must be enforced, which is why, in addition to myself being hands-on, we've engaged a government affairs and, more importantly, a compliance team to ensure, as a double and triple check, that the businesses operate going forward in compliance with the letter of the law. So thank you for listening.
Did you operate last summer?
No.
As a restaurant?
Very short time.
After they took the temp away, they didn't reopen.
From the time of the tenth?
I'm sorry.
He means without alcohol.
Paul, can I just say one thing? So I got involved in
July?
I would say July 15th last year, when both SOA licenses got pulled. I could tell you, and you asked a very valid question, why the East Hampton town went from shutting down the 2 establishments to signing the STIP. That's the reasoning of that is we worked very hard with the town, everybody at the
No,
town.
but you're missing my point. I get that they might agree the place is obviously worth a lot of money. They might agree that it should be open. My problem with what they did was they basically just gave you everything. 4 a.m., live music, dancing, They didn't put one restriction on it that I could see, which made zero sense to me. It almost makes me think there was something else going on, because I can't imagine that a place that caused that much ruckus, not just you, but the guy before you, is now we're just going to give him the keys to the kingdom and go ahead, have a happy summer. That's what I didn't understand, and I still don't understand it.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, as they quite eloquently stated, they worked long and hard with the town. This was no easy decision on the part of the town.
What work did they have to do to give it a 4 a.m. close?
Mr. Chairman, I don't have to explain to you the short leash that they're on, and if anything.
We've had that conversation. That ship sailed. That's when the temp disappeared. The leash right now is not really a leash. It's somebody holding the collar.
Well, holding the collar or otherwise, they'd be insane to do something stupid at this point. I mean,
You've been here long enough to know that there's plenty of insane people out here.
well, I'm not gonna disagree with that, but these are good people. They're not.
I'm not questioning them being good people or not. I have concerns. I mean, this is what,
and rightfully so.
This
You
is
should
what
have.
this is what they could not abide by. Background recorded music only, maximum indoor capacity of 132, no dancing, 1 a.m. closing time. That lasted 72 hours.
Again, I'm not going to make any excuse for it. It happened. There was management in place that shouldn't have been there. That won't happen again. There's too much at stake for anything to go wrong in this place. This man obviously is coming before you, in a sense, begging for another chance.
Where are the you came in with a bunch of guys last time, right? All the other partners are not part of this anymore?
No, there are.
Oh, they're just minority interest?
Yeah, I'm the majority, and it's my responsibility.
Okay.
So one was
Do
traveling.
you want to go talk about this, you said, to the council? Hmm?
So you're asking right now for, I mean, the best you're gonna do is what we gave you in the temp, don't you think?
No, they can go beyond that, but there's no way it's open till 4 a.m. That's not happening.
I'm open to, whatever. I'm open to whatever you recommend. It's a seasonal business. Having the extra hours doesn't mean we'll always be open, but I'm open to what you recommend.
I mean, I think the temp said 1, right? That was.
Mm-hmm.
Have you talked to the residences that surround you?
Yes.
And what's their feeling?
It's, we've said what we're going to do, but I'd like to show them what we're going to do.
But they're fine with it?
Yes. Even our own hotel guests, we can't be making noise and disturbing our own hotel guests.
So back to Mike's question, you didn't operate the hotel last summer,
The hotel was in operation, the restaurant was closed.
and the hotel's in operation now?
No, it's a
No,
seasonal establishment,
it's-
made to, Memorial Day to Labor Day.
All right, well, I got enough information, whatever you.
Members ready to vote?
I almost feel like I want to not do this because they're going to violate it.
Do what?
No dancing, for example. That's not happening.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
security guards is needed because it doesn't matter now based on the advisory.
You got bottle service? Are you planning bottle service?
Yes, some bottle service, but
I think we should say no to that and let them have a DJ
we didn't establish a menu, just
until 1. No, open till 2, DJ till 1. Yeah, you can come back
All right.
after the summer.
After the summer?
Yeah, they're not open now anyway, so
Right.
there's not much to violate until after August.
Okay. Look weird.
You're coming up with another one too, right?
yes.
Yes.
What's that one?
That's the other one.
East Lake Drive.
Yeah.
It's called East Lake
No,
Drive?
it's 4
The name of it?
Yeah.
Right now, we named it Blue Eyes Waterfront
No,
Cafe.
no,
That's a
the
hotel
corporate
too, or
Oh,
no?
corporate name, 435 operations.
That's a hotel as well?
Yes, same setup with the marina
That's the one that's
coming up.
coming.
Well, I did the.
Not today. It's
The
not
license
today.
bureau hasn't told
We
us
don't
yet.
know.
It's coming.
Yeah,
Pending.
Right, but that was the other one. That was the little.
yes.
Little what? Little what? Little.
And that's just so you know,
That
well,
was
that was the
Rick's
same issue,
food service.
130 people instead of 100 people. When the fire marshal came in, the property is a 5-acre property.
But we didn't shut that, they shut it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Same issues.
They,
But we
no,
pulled
The
the permit.
town, I mean, the fire
We
department.
pulled the permit on that one too.
Right.
Yeah, the
Okay.
Yes,
tax was
yes,
paid.
you did.
All right, so we're just voting on this one. Okay.
I hope you understand that we're really trying to help here. Like, and please don't get me into trouble with the town because it's like this back and forth with them. It's really not good for either side.
How are you gonna get in trouble with the town?
Yeah, no, we won't, we won't.
You know what I mean.
It was recorded.
They're gonna be mad at us. I don't need the
Facial
negative
recognition.
energy.
Along with everybody else.
Don't go to
So
the
I'm gonna vote to approve with the following conditions. Maximum indoor occupancy of 132. We're gonna do 2 a.m. close. Security guard is needed, manager is needed. No bottle service. DJ until 1 a.m. And all future changes has to come to full board.
Did you say no dance?
I didn't say no dancing.
I don't care.
I'm gonna give them dancing because someone's gonna be dancing.
Okay.
Thank
So recorded music and dancing. they
And
get.
DJ.
Yes.
Thank you.
And Chairman, you're right.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
Well, what's and the outside is open till save up time?
Yeah, same time.
Okay.
We're gonna make sure it's shut down. I think there's 18 rooms, there's 19 hotel rooms.
Oh, right near there?
Yeah.
Oh, all
There
right.
are people living there.
Okay.
And have to make sure that there's no sound outside.
I mean, I'll give you 4 a.m. next year, but not this year.
Right, we have to prove ourselves. I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Next is 104 and 105, Ad Restaurants Group, Inc.
This, Martin Miller, Buscemi, and this is Mr. Buscemi's case. He submitted a written CNC, and I can answer some questions. I don't know if I can answer all the questions if you have them.
I mean, this is a restaurant turned club. We've seen them here a lot. I remember issuing this license, actually.
Yeah,
This is a nice.
this actually came to the full board and they did everything they told us they wouldn't do. I'm at cancel and bond counter.
Cancel and bond.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Next is 137, United Liquor Store Corp.
Charles Lynn for the applicant. Its principal is Aaron Jot Singh, who's with me today. This is a transfer, a purchase of a liquor store, and I believe that it's here because some of the financing was from a joint account of he and his wife. His wife had previous.
Yeah, well, so it ended up getting denied, I think, initially, right? Because there was a factoring agreement.
Yes, there was a factoring agreement.
That's no longer in
That's no,
existence.
that was no
All right, so
longer
I'm good
happening.
Commissioner Fan,
Yes, that's fine.
Thank you.
good day. Next is 129, 92nd Street Liquor Corp.
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners, full board. Argelio Rodriguez Law, here for the applicant, Liquor Store 92nd Street Liquors Corp. And I'm here with Olive Johnson, the principal.
Okay, we have opposition, so.
We'll let them go ahead.
I didn't know Mr. Levy did opposition, but here we are.
Good morning, Happy New Year. I normally don't, but I will on occasion when the opportunity presents itself and it makes sense. I'm here today on behalf of Galaxy Discount Liquor, Inc. And in a lot of ways, I'm only here because I was here last time for Galaxy Discount Liquors, Inc., opposing a store in the exact same space. This is a bulletproof store in a neighborhood that lacks any great development, residential or commercial. And before we even get into the merits further of the matter itself, there was a 200-foot rule issue here years ago. We submitted some information in our papers 2 or 3 years ago. The authority had adjourned a hearing to go investigate. They came back and determined that there was indeed a 200-foot rule issue here.
At this exact location?
Correct.
So this was originally disapproved because of the 200-foot law. There was a extended period of time before the request for reconsideration was submitted, so it wasn't entertained. So the applicant has filed a new application and has submitted some material, and then we went out and did another investigation. And that should be in your packet of material.
Yeah, I have it. Okay.
So our main point of contention years ago, which is the same as today, is that there is an active church right next door. While we acknowledge that there is an apartment upstairs, our initial investigation was that that apartment was inhabited by someone related to the church as part of the clergy, potentially. Again, aside from the 200-foot rule issue, the fact remains that this is an area, Canarsie, that has a dip in population, no tremendous residential or commercial growth, and no need for another store in this neighborhood. I believe you have 8 within a mile there, and all are fairly modest stores. Our clients' numbers had been stagnant for years. They did pop recently within the last year, but when you juxtapose that to the cost of doing business and how that's increased over time recently, it really is not as significant as it seems. Thank you.
So we did send an investigator out, and or whoever gave us the facts were actually a little wrong. There actually is 2 apartments up there, one of which appears to be occupied by somebody affiliated with the church. The other one is occupied by 3 people, but none of them are affiliated with the church. And the church actually backed that up, correct?
Yeah, that's, if the report had backed up the original finding, we would have denied it at licensing board.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So I'll just summarize as best I can for the sake of time, what's going on here. There was an initial application on behalf of 92nd Street Liquors Corp. It was disapproved due to the 200-foot rule. In that case, the church was asked about the exclusive use of the building. They responded, and what they explained incorrectly was that the second floor was composed of 1 apartment and that maintenance workers were in there. We attempted a reconsideration. It was deemed untimely, and so we made this instant application. And during my due diligence, I made sure to clear up that issue, and we provided, together with the application, 3 signed letters from the tenants in apartment 2F to front. There's 2F and then 2R for rear. And there's 3 individuals who occupy that 2F apartment, and we provided signed letters that were notarized by them. And the SLA responded with an investigation. They sent out an investigator. It was a very thorough investigation. The first instance they attended was November.
Okay, can you jump ahead? We have all this.
Okay, so bottom line on that is that there's an apartment, 1 of 2 on the second floor, that takes this case out of the 200-foot rule. And the SLA did their investigation, and it corroborated everything we submitted. In terms of the application serving the public convenience and advantage, we provided our map of the distances, and it's all also in the records. Point 4 was the closest store, and rising up to point 9, and all in different directions, so they're all spread out. And then with respect to gross sales of the 4 closest stores, there's only two submitted gross sales numbers, and they were all increasing, number one. And then number two, the two that did not present gross sales, we actually would have preferred they presented gross sales because they were large warehouses and outlets of 4,000 square feet, and then I think 2,500 square feet. And I guarantee that their sales, I can guarantee, of course, but I suspect their gross sales are well into the several millions. And the 2 of the 4 did not report. The 2 that reported were increasing well and very consistently. And so for those reasons, I think the application should be approved.
So I can't really tell from the photos, is your store bulletproof or not bulletproof?
I wanted to clarify that it's not bulletproof.
It's not
It's not bulletproof, so, just to clear up the opposition, this application is not a bulletproof.
All right, I'm
application.
gonna find public convenience advantage. The closest store is 0.4 miles away. 2 of the 4 stores are showing healthy growth. Since the 200-foot rule issue is cleared up, I'm gonna vote to approve.
Chairman Bradley?
So okay, I'm going to vote to approve on the same, for the same reasons.
Thank you.
Good day. Next is 152, Exempt Firemen's Association of the City of Poughkeepsie.
Oh, Mike, I needed somebody to send me that deal.
Good afternoon. Pedro Medina from the firm of Mackey, Butts and Whalen on behalf of Exempt Firemen's Association, and I have Mr. Joe Krakauer, who's the treasurer and member of the board. We ask that the board approve the conditional no contest plea of $1,500 that we've submitted.
So the reason I asked you to come down here is that a few years ago, you guys had some issues, big issues, your clients, I should say, at the Firemen's, Exempt Firemen's Association. I live in Kingston, so I'm familiar with it. And in order to work those issues out, one of the conditions was that you remove the entire board and replace it. It's come to my attention from not just the police department, but people who are complaining about your organization for the same type of activities that occurred before, which is renting it out for parties to people that are not members, that the person who was the problem board member is still a board member, even after we told you to get rid of the board.
No, that's not true.
Well, who are your board, what's the?
We changed our bylaw, we changed our bylaws.
Speaking to the microphone.
Oh, okay. We changed our bylaws, and previously the board was appointed by the president. Under the new board.
What was his name back then?
Oh, geez, now I don't remember.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, under the new bylaws, the elected officers are the board with one elected member from the membership as the membership liaison.
So I don't care how you pick your board. That's kind of irrelevant to me. What we were concerned about was who was on it.
Okay.
And that had to change, and your organization agreed to change it, and I'm being told, I don't know, because I haven't gone through your records, but in order to avoid that, because we can, I need somebody to confirm to me that no one that was a board member at the time these issues occurred back in, you know the time, Tom?
Yeah, well, this license was issued, new one was issued 2019.
So that anyone on the board at that time should not be on the board anymore.
No, they're not.
Or
The entire officers, except for myself, have
well, there was
changed.
an individual, and I don't remember his name, who was, I believe, a alderman or city councilman for a period of time.
Yes,
What was his name?
his name was Chris Petzis.
And he was the ABC officer too.
Is he on the board still?
No,
Is he still part of the club?
yes, he is.
So you're telling, so can someone at least or send us a list of who the board members are,
I can-
when they got onto the board, and that they've never been on the board prior to that.
Yeah,
And
I can.
then I'll accept this.
Okay, I
CNC.
can give you a list if I can
Well, you
get
can
a
send
piece
it,
of
to- you don't
paper.
need to do it today, you can send it.
Okay.
When do you want to hold it over to?
No, I'll accept the CNC, I don't
You
think it's
accept
gonna,
it?
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll accept you.
But you're not making the list, you're just telling him to send the list.
Yeah, I believe he'll get it. If he doesn't, it's, they're violating the prior agreement, and we'll go up and go through the records ourselves. The lawyer's aware of what would happen.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Do you want a time
Yes, Chairman.
frame for them? submitting?
No, he'll send it to me.
We'll send it. Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you very much.
All right, next is 139, Luke's Bistro and Bar Inc. Lux Bistro and Bar Inc.
Good afternoon. My name is Jay Yu. I'm the representative. And Jeremy is the president of the corporation. And Dorami is the wife, and she's a manager of the restaurant.
What are your hours?
Okay, now we're opening at 12 p.m. to 12 a.m., closing.
And
7
there's
days
no
a-
bathroom?
In the hotel lobby.
In the hotel lobby, right?
It is on the hotel lobby, 20 feet away.
And it's in your lease that you can use those, your
Yes.
customers?
Yes.
Yeah, this wasn't sent because of the restaurant.
Yeah, I
It was sent
know.
because of the
And how
prior
often-
applicant's disapproval.
Right. So, how often you plan to have a DJ?
Just on occasion, like where the business is located, we don't have too much foot traffic, so we thought maybe once in a blue we can actually offer like a. we have
Okay,
a
but it's
DJ.
not gonna become like third-party promoter, like
No.
events every Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
No, so it's
you know?
more like a DJ, just to play like good music, and people could still talk over the music, so it's not like a party, no one dancing or
Okay.
anything.
All right, so I'm gonna vote to approve with the following conditions. Recorded music and DJ, no private events, no third-party promoters, security guards and manager as needed. Bathroom waiver is acceptable, midnight across the board. Thank you.
So I'll approve under the same conditions.
Okay,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
coming in, thanks for waiting.
Next is 110, BRIYANA Organics Deli Corp.
Good morning, Chairman Bradley, members of the board. Franklin Janelle Law PC for BRIYANA Organics Deli Corp. I'm here today because respectfully requesting an adjournment. Or for this to be put over to the next meeting. I was just recently retained, and there's some information that
2:15 or 2:1?
2:15 would be great.
2:15, okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming.
Good day.
Yeah, that's fine.
2:15.
I will.
Jonathan,
Yeah.
can you move that mic up a little bit? Please. Next is gonna be 151 Santana Wine and Liquor Inc. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chairman, Commissioners, full board. This is Arhelio Rodriguez of Rodriguez Law, here on behalf of Santana Wine and Liquor. I'm here with the principal, Lisa Santana. And so this is a liquor store transfer. And so
Let's go back to the former owner. Who was the former owner of the liquor store?
this is a purchase of a liquor store. That owner is Donahue, Mr. Donahue. I forget his first name.
Not
Michael Donahue. We were having a discussion about how the name closely
And
resembles.
what he pay for it?
What he paid for it? It seems he paid 125,000.
Okay, when did that purchase go?
That-
Hold
that's-
on, hold on.
I think
When did that purchase go through?
I don't believe it went through.
So his deal was 125.
The deal failed.
Okay, because we wouldn't give him a license.
No.
The deal failed and
Donahue is the one who owned the store.
Oh,
It
who was
was-
trying to buy it?
who was trying to buy it? An individual named Amaury Navarro.
And he was going to pay 125, or he did pay 125.
They entered into a contract to do it, is my understanding. What I was told is that it failed. It didn't go through.
So who'd she buy the store from? Or who's she trying to buy the store
From Michael Donahue.
And so Michael Donahue was going to sell to the first guy for 125, which seems a little low to me, assuming it was profitable. What'd she pay for it?
She paid $10,000.
10,000.
That's correct.
Can you explain that?
Yeah, I actually handled the conversation.
All right.
It was
So
negotiated.
why the discrepancy?
He was desperate and he just wanted out. And it was during the pandemic
So why not
and his
just give it to
transaction
her?
failed. Why not give it to her? I mean, he wanted
He
something
almost
from
is
it.
giving it to her. Is that part of the
10,000
inventory
is
too?
very low.
There was no inventory.
Do you know the former person that tried to buy it?
He was my former boss's brother,
Who's your former boss?
and now he's Jose Navarro.
So I was asked to look into the transaction. I pulled the records, I did a FOIA request, and I got to the bottom of it, and he just wanted out. And I was told to evaluate the transaction, and it looked like a good opportunity, so I gave the thumbs up.
Oh yeah, if somebody's gonna hand me a liquor store for 10,000, I do too. I'm just wondering.
I mean, I was also told that the store has had several owners over the last year.
Did Mr. Navarro get his money back?
Did Mr. Navarro?
Did he ever give him the 125,000?
I don't know.
And do you know?
I have no idea.
Well, you know the guy, right?
I know Michael, yes.
You know,
And Amaury's.
you know Anudia
That's
Navarro?
And Eldis, that's my former boss. That's who I worked with before.
And where did you work for him?
449 Wine and Spirits.
What was it called?
449 Wine and Spirits.
Where's that?
That's on Morris Park.
Does he still own it?
Yeah,
Who runs it?
he does.
He lives in Allentown, doesn't he?
Yep.
So he commutes in every day?
All right.
Are they involved in this store? Either one of them?
It's me 100.
What happened? Where's Morris Navarro now?
I'm not sure.
What's he do?
I don't know.
Do you know that he lives very close to your former boss?
Yeah, that's what I read.
So you don't have a relationship with either of these people right now?
No,
Not even friends?
no.
How'd you find out about the store?
Oh, I live close by. I live on 174th, and the store is on 174th and Bronx River. I walk by there every day. And once I knew the application was disapproved, I asked Michael, what was he gonna do? And he was desperate, and he said, I'll sell it for anything right now. And he said,
How'd you know the application was disapproved?
well,
I looked it up. She asked me for my opinion and I FOIA requested it.
But that's not what she just said.
This is before you were involved.
I'll let her speak.
Like I said, Amaury's is my former boss's brother. I heard the application was disapproved
From who?
from Eneldi's.
So you do talk to them?
No, that was before.
You were still working for the brother then?
Yes. I stopped working there in April of 2022.
Why? Why'd you stop?
I had to. I was in plans of buying a store.
Well, there's nothing illegal about working at a liquor store while you're buying one. See, here's what's going to happen. And I'm going to go back and check, should you get this license. And if we find out that they're involved in this, you're going to lose your store, which you probably don't care, because if they are involved in it, I'm sure you're doing this for money, which you're going to get. But they're going to lose their store too.
Their store is just,
Okay.
The members ready to vote?
You're going to be in this store every day?
yes. I'm there every day now. I go in the afternoons.
So you're on a temp right now?
Yes.
It shouldn't have been issued, but it was.
I just got the temp for February yesterday.
All right, we'll just have to look after them.
I mean, the deal smells to high heaven. The guy had a deal for 125. 9 months later, he sells it for 10.
No, when it's too good to be true, it usually is. So there's something going on here.
Okay, go ahead, Donald.
Commissioner Fan?
I'm going to vote to approve.
Chairman Bradley?
I'm going to vote to approve as well, but make clear that if either one of these guys takes a dime out of this store, you're going to lose it.
They have nothing to do with my store.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You got a really good deal then.
Next is 128 Blue Angel Lounge Court.
Do you know what this is?
What is it? From a foam cup.
Good afternoon, Chairman, Commissioners. Happy New Year.
Hi.
This case was adjourned, well, first off, Gene Anton for the applicant for the alteration, for the method of operation change.
Yeah. We're looking for a community board letter.
Yes, so I spoke with Ms. SHREE, the community board district manager, several times, and she finally sent the letter yesterday. I have a
Okay.
copy of it, but
Sure.
she emailed it to submissions.
Thanks. Okay, Donald, we're ready.
All right, Commissioner Fan?
Fantastic. I'm going to vote to approve with the conditions stipulated by the community board, Sunday to Tuesday, 2 a.m. You know what, I'm not gonna put closed Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm gonna let you operate.
Okay.
I'm gonna do 2 a.m. Sunday to Wednesday, Thursday to Saturday, 4 a.m. Security guard as needed. Alcohol service will end 1 hour prior to closing. Security as needed, manager as needed, recorded background music, and jukebox only.
That will approve with the same conditions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That letter is with us, or-
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you.
For coming with the letter.
Next is 156A and 156B, Katrina's on 3rd Avenue, Inc.
Timothy Allenwood for the licensee. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I would like to pass this to the next calendar if I could.
So I was gonna actually send it back to the ALJ because I disagree with her decision on 3 of the charges, the 3 sale to minor charges in the first proceeding, which were charges 20, 21, and 22. She dismissed the charges because she said there was no evidence presented, and I believe there was evidence presented by the police department in document form, so I'm gonna
think there was
send it
proof
back
of-
to the ALJ to at least analyze that,
Okay.
and then we can put it on
Put it
again
back,
after
okay.
that.
All right.
So that likely to be a month then, probably at least, right?
I don't know, how long does that take, Tom? It's only 3 charges. She doesn't
You
have
want
to
it
do the
sent back
whole
to that ALJ or a different ALJ?
Which one is it?
thing. Hiking. I don't care who it goes back to.
The past, haven't we sent it back to a different?
No, send it back to a different one. But it's just those 3 charges. So yeah, it's gonna be a month.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is that it? All right,
You're
thank
not
you.
gonna get, well, you'll get.
You'll get yeah, you'll get notified. Yep. All right, we're gonna take a brief recess. We'll be back shortly. We're back on the record after a brief recess. Next is 103, Peter J. Moreno Court. Mr. McCallum, did you sign in for this one? Peter J. Moreno?
What about 106?
That's next.
Yeah, the companion.
Oh, yeah, 106, 103 right there.
Good afternoon. Sorry about that little delay. I know everyone wants to skedaddle. Thomas McCallum here for the licensee. It's David Chiara and Jay Jaworski. These are the licensee principals. We do have companion cases. You probably read the materials. There was a sale which took place in autumn, an asset sale in autumn of 21. They would close for a number of months. Application progressed. Ultimately, a temporary was approved. Move forward. They were continuing their renovations. Renovations were completed and they opened up in August of 22, but there was a fumble along the way. It was bad closing, nothing deceitful, and the temporary was not picked up. They understood everything was in order. No one physically picked up the temporary. They opened up one night. BCI arrived, asked questions, they closed that night. The 90-day temporary permit was rescinded, request for reconsideration, temporary reinstated, licensed, approved, so we're here on a conditional no contest plea. The companion case is the seller, and the seller closed, the attorneys closed the transaction, and the seller took the license home accidentally, inadvertently, and they didn't pick up on it until they opened in August. Again, opened for half the night, they complied with the BCI, and that was it. So they relied on their expediter who told them, you're good to go, and they weren't. And the long-term licensees have 9 other licenses, and for lack of a better description, it was a fumble, bad handoff.
Yeah, but it didn't happen that just one day.
Yeah, it happened just the one night. It was one night.
The only reason we had an investigator out there was because we got a complaint that this was going on.
Okay.
And he went and confirmed it was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why it happened, why it was going on consistently, I don't know. But it definitely did not happen that one night.
Well,
just that one night.
Okay. Well, that was my understanding.
Because otherwise, we don't get there. There's no reason for
Well,
it.
no,
We don't go check.
I concluded or surmised that this could have been a competitor. They were dark for a period in the neighborhood. Could have been a competitor when they first
It
opened.
may have been, but we definitely got a complaint.
But again, we're here on a CNC, looking to, wrap this up. The Peter J. Moreno one, that's also a CNC. He's closed, he's retired. And I don't know the basis, but I know we have quality operators here, and looking for the members, consider it.
All right, in 103, withdraw charge 2 at the request of council.
And 106 is the withdrawal.
I'm sorry, 106, withdraw charge 2 at the request of council.
Yep.
Yes.
Withdraw
Then I'll
2.
accept.
I'll accept 4,500 on 106 and accept cancel and bond on 103.
Yes.
And the Moreno case?
Yeah, that's cancel and bond.
That's cancel and bond claim.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Everyone, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Commissioner Fan,
Thanks.
thank you.
Thank you.
Next is 126 Bushwick Block LLC.
Good afternoon, Frank Blow for the licensee. Respectfully, it's not unavailing. There is an offer and compromise in front of you, but it's not unavailing.
What is it?
This is an unlicensed sale of alcoholic beverages, sir.
Want us to go to council's office and?
No, I have to dump it because the current operator there, it will be evicted shortly, and we need to re-rent this premises.
All right, I'll accept.
I'll accept.
Thank you.
So who do you work for?
Next is 111 Papa Che Deli Corp.
Good afternoon, Chairman, Commissioners. Victor Molina on behalf of Papa Che Deli Corp.
Okay, this is fine. What are the hours? What are the hours?
The hours of operation?
It's a mini mart.
He's gonna open at 8 o'clock and close at about 11. 7 to 11?
Can you do me a favor and get a word back to Mr. Elvin Oliveira?
Yes, sir.
Because there were 2 applications on this calendar, and both of them are here primarily because it was such a bad job done on the applications. Things were not disclosed and they should have been disclosed.
We understand that, sure. And we'll inform him they should take a little more time and effort.
Next time they won't even get to the board. They could be disapproved by
All
license.
right, I'm gonna approve this, but he has to use a scanner. And when I say scanner, I mean scanner that identifies false identifications. Not a scanner that identifies that they're not 21, a scanner that identifies identifications
I
that are
understand the
false.
distinction, and I also wanted the authority to know he did take an awareness program to update himself with the rules and regulations if the authority needs a copy of the certificate.
No, we just need them not to sell to minors. That's the main thing. All right.
Commissioner Fan, you voted?
Yes, I vote in the affirmative. Thank you for coming.
All right, so yep, approved with an ID scanner.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is 147, 7 Henshaw Inc.
Good afternoon, Chair. Miguel Acosta here on behalf of 7 Henshaw Inc. I have Mr. Ramon Gomez here, who's the manager of the establishment. This application was submitted back in May. Of course, we was here in April for reconsideration of a previous application that had certain objections from residential residents regarding the operations of the establishment.
This is just for a temp we're trying to
Yeah,
get?
correct.
So
So,
the applicant isn't here?
no, she's actually a nurse. That's what I wanted to explain. She purchased this business back in 2019 since the
Yeah,
pandemic.
no, I remember it, and it's
Yeah.
right, it's apparently right smack on a road that is the only way to an on-ramp for a highway.
Yeah, well, the situation is this. I don't know if you allow me to present this evidence. There's a car wash down the block, which creates a line from the beginning of the block to the Seaman Avenue, which is where the car wash is located. So my client does have a parking agreement with the parking lot next door, which allows patrons after a stamp
Yeah, but see,
ticket.
and that's great, but, and I've spent enough time up there in that neighborhood to know everybody double parks for whatever reason.
Yeah,
Down here,
it's-
you get towed if you do it in Manhattan.
Yeah, correct.
Well, but in that part of Manhattan, for whatever reason, in front of restaurants, they double park
They triple
constantly.
park sometimes.
And that causes a huge issue, particularly on this road.
Yeah, but mainly on this road, like I said, I have evidence that there's a long line that goes all the way from
Which probably
Riverside.
makes it worse.
Which makes it worse. Also, my client does have signs, no double parking or you'll be towed. So he has never received a 311 call, never had a problem with the precinct, went to the community board, got approval by the community board. There's no opposition for the temporary permit. Applicant has resolved all issues with the residents.
So the CB didn't,
They weren't notified of
The tenant.
coming, they would have gotten notification, but not necessarily, I don't know
but
if they're.
he's open anyway, right?
Yeah, he's open and he doesn't sell alcohol or
So
anything.
if we give this temp to see how it goes, he's not losing anything. if we
Correct,
make it
and the
work.
hours operations, he closes the latest at 9 PM. So he opens 7:30, 9 PM, he
You want
closes.
the application to come back to you, the
Yeah,
license
yeah,
application?
that has to come back.
All right, I'll vote to approve 9 PM.
No, what do we give him to 11 on these temps?
Yeah, I'll
It's not
appreciate
500
that.
foot. This isn't a 500 foot, so it's.
Just put, how late do you want to stay open?
11 is fine.
11.
11.
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
She's gonna have to be here for the,
Oh, yes, I'll make sure she's here. She's a registered nurse today. She had a previous meeting with her hospital.
so just tell her that.
I'll make sure
this
she's
is a
here.
Test case, right?
Not a
here.
problem. Okay, thank you very much. You have a great day.
Next is 156 Fairy Tale Lounge 2 Court.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner, Deputy Commissioner, Secretary, Council. I'm Michael Ferrari on behalf of the licensee. With me here today is the principal, Anthony Shiana, as well as the bartender that was on duty at the time of the incident. His name is Joshua Melendez. I know that this is a conditional no contest offer for $2,000. I know it was before the board on the last date, and I did watch the video. I wasn't present, but I watched the video. I did hear the discussion. I know that it's back here. I'm happy to address whatever issues you would like me to
Well, it
address.
was- I think they're obvious. It was, the method of operation says no dancing. And not only were they dancing, but the records that we got reflect that it was topless dancing.
So we're not obviously going to have a hearing here today, but I will tell you that the original charge by the State Liquor Authority and the charge on the police records was for topless. It wasn't for dancing. This person
So they were walking around topless?
This person was sitting in on the bar stool and at one point on the bar and had taken off her jacket and was wearing pasted stickers covering her nipples. I'm using the term.
This is a customer?
This is a customer, and I'm using the term her and she, but I think it's relevant to the discussion that this person is transgender. And I think it factored into the decision by the authority to amend its original charge of topless, which requires.
Yeah, I get it. All right, I'll take the 2,000.
Commissioner Fan?
I'll take the 2,000.
That would have been, we probably could have used a little more facts there.
Perhaps I should have shown up the first time. Thank you very much. Have a good day, all of you.
Have a good day.
Take care.
Jonathan, I have nothing else. Is that right?
Right.
All right.
Not getting into
95 is an offer for $50.
95?
95.
I'll accept.
I'll accept.
96, 97, 98 is an offer 3,500.
Accept.
99 is an offer of letter of warning.
I'll accept.
Accept.
100 and 101 is an offer of 7,500.
Accept.
I'll accept. But it should be higher because it's took it twice after we inspected. Okay.
102 is an offer of 10,000.
Did they file the corporate change?
That's been approved.
That's been
I
approved.
don't agree with their attorney's position about the alteration application, and I'll follow up on that.
I'll take the
I'll
10,000.
How
I'll
much?
accept the 10,000.
10,000.
107 is an offer of 4,000.
I think I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna go to 2,000.
107? 2,000.
109 is a new grocery store
I was
license
gonna vote no on
application.
that one. I'm gonna vote to deny.
Yeah, everybody lives at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna vote to deny that. I had a lot of questions. on this.
114 is Kevin Danow's case. He has to adjourn to February 1st since he's out of town.
Yeah.
Right.
114?
Yes.
So over to 2-1.
6,000.
What'd that go to, 215?
2-1.
February 1st.
I'll accept.
For 115, which is an offer of 6,000.
Yeah.
Yes.
116 and 117 is an offer of cancel and bond.
Cancel and bond.
Cancel and bond.
118 is a no contest default at pleading.
4,000.
4,000.
119 is a no contest default at pleading.
Cancel and bond.
Cancel and bond.
120 is an offer of cancel and bond.
Cancel. What? No, 120 is an off. Yes, cancel and bond.
Cancel and bond.
121 is an offer of 3,500.
I'm gonna go to 2,500.
Chairman.
2,500.
122 is an offer of 5,000.
This, I just don't have any proof that they've actually fixed it. No pictures, nothing. I'll accept 5,000. Mike, can we check again?
Sure.
Chairman.
I'll accept 5,000. Mike, we'll check.
123 is an offer of 5,000.
This is fine, 5,000.
Yeah, pretty steep for. I'll accept.
We used to charge them quite heavily for Sunday sales violations.
But that was before you were allowed to be open on Sunday at all, right?
No, once we opened up for Sunday, because a lot of places tried to, push the envelopes for the hours.
125 is an offer of 4,000.
4,000.
I'll accept.
127 is an offer of 4,000.
I'm gonna withdraw charge 1 and 4. I'm gonna lower this to 3,000.
Oh, Mike, you did email me about the,
Yeah.
oh, I didn't see it in time.
Well, there's a lady back.
I'll do the same.
13.
130 is an offer of letter of warning.
Letter of warning,
Letter of warning.
132 is an offer of 5,500.
5,500.
5,500.
134 is an offer of 3,500.
3,500.
3,500.
138 is a no contest.
Smoking occupants.
25 people over the occupancy.
Yeah, 25 over, right? 100, right, 75 over 100. I'm at 5,000.
5,000.
142 is a new grocery store beer and wine products application.
I was gonna ask to see him, so I'm gonna vote no.
I was no.
Yeah.
Good deny.
He had a lot of
Yes.
sale to minor
Just so
issues.
that you know, he wasn't present at any of those sales. There were different people that were.
So 150 is
President of his
a
job.
150 is a new grocery store application.
I was okay with this.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yes, I'm
5 times for attempting to get a premise. Oh, this is he wanted an on-premise license and he made this a
Yeah.
store instead? Okay, I'll approve.
6 times the term.
So
But then he'll allow on-premises sales. Okay.
153 and 154. So
Yes.
keep holding this over for the licensee to appear. We've discussed the matter with the prosecutor. This person's they're elderly, and she even had difficulty getting contact with them.
Well, then
But we've
can we
even
do-
mailed them
No,
notices.
can we do this? The only reason I wanted to bring them in is because it's clear the husband's the owner. I'm not gonna take the place for that reason. He should get fined
Corporate change has been filed.
with him as the owner.
Yes.
Okay, then I'll accept.
All right, then I'll accept as well. Thank you.
All right. So I have nothing else. Chairman, do you have anything?
No.
All right,
Thank you.
meeting's adjourned.